Friday Night Live with Enlightenment
Friday.
Media.
Yes.
And this is our new friend Felly, who is
What's up,
going to
guys?
share some amazing and interesting and unique stories. We'll give it a minute for people to join on this on the in the comments here.
Super stoked. Super stoked.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, h- how are things on the East Coast right now? Are
They're it's cool. I just came back from Costa Rica actually last week, and man, that was a vortex in itself. I mean, I went for 3 weeks, and before that I was in Florida for a little bit too. And I drove down with my dog because I don't like putting him on a plane. So
yeah,
I wanted to take him for the ride with me. But yeah, Costa Rica was cool. I was working a lot on music, and it was just such a good time. I mean, being out there in nature, being it's just such a vortex. Like, you feel so connected to nature out there, especially the beaches. Like, I'm a big water guy.
yeah.
The water just calls to me. So, that I surfed. It was a really good time. So coming back here was, I mean, honestly, like, it was cool too to be back. Like, I'm glad to be back, grounded in my space too at the same time. But things on the East Coast are cool, but I kind of miss Costa Rica still. Truth be told.
Yeah. Do you have a place down there or friends or
Yeah, well, no, I just went on my own. Just went full nomad. Just wanted to explore. Honestly, I don't even really have anybody out there. Hey guys, people are coming in too.
Hey, hi Tiger Paw, Sunfire Goddess, Z. Um, yeah, that I would love to just go somewhere without knowing anybody.
Yeah,
Uh,
it definitely should try it. It's fun. You don't know
yeah,
what you're gonna run into. Like, just let the universe do its thing.
yeah. I've
Now, did you
in
see any
my
cool birds? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Kimberly.
no, please, Shannon.
I was
Sorry, go
going to
ahead.
say, did you see any cool birds? Because I want to go to Costa Rica. It's like one of my dream spots, but it's for the birds. They have beautiful hummingbirds. They have some of the wildest groups of hummingbirds. They have like giant hummingbirds and little tiny
They
ones.
do.
Huh.
They do. Yeah, they do. There's, more than a few times I've seen hummingbirds, which are so cool because you'd see them in the most random places too. You didn't have to go to a sanctuary or anything, or like a nature spot. Like, you just literally anywhere, even in like a plaza, you'll see them. They'll just like fly around in front of you. One thing that I noticed too, because you're asking about birds, the crows. Well, actually, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't even know if it's like a subspecies of crow or something, but they have a very specific call.
Mm.
It's like a loud chirp. You don't hear that here in like the East Coast at all. Like, it's just different. I don't know what it is, but it's just so interesting to me how there could be so many different little variations, and they look
Yeah.
exactly the same as the crows that you would see
Oh,
here in the East Coast too. So I was trying to like understand if it was maybe something different, like a subspecies. I don't know. Maybe somebody knows, but I don't. I don't know. It was really cool though. So yeah, birds. There's lots of cool birds over there, and the monkeys too. There's monkeys up in the trees too,
Yes.
like everywhere, and they're called howler monkeys. So they just howl at you. It's really cool. Like, it's really crazy. You feel like you're, I don't know, in some like other dimension or something.
that's so beautiful. Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
awesome.
it's funny because I'm sure everyone has heard how in different languages or in different cultures, animal sounds are very different. Like when we
Yeah.
say woof woof, I think only in America do we say woof. Like it sounds very that's onomatopoeia, right? Like a
Mhm.
replacement. Okay. So in China, it's totally different. In Mexico, I think it's wow 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 wow. So I wonder if it's actually because of the animals.
Hmm.
I see what you mean. Yeah, like maybe they have like a different dialect. I
Yeah.
mean, the
Yeah.
Corvids are really smart, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
I was doing a deep dive the other day on Corvids too. I was just going on YouTube Shorts and just like scrolling through them.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's really cool. There's so many. Maybe that's what it is. I mean, we're not the only species that has different dialects, right? So
Mhm.
yeah, super
Yeah.
Yeah.
interesting.
Look up the New Caledonian crow. The New Caledonian crow. New Caledonia is an island off the coast of Australia, and the
Mhm.
crows there are amazing. They can actually make little tools and use them. Like they're
Yeah,
documented as being either the or like very top two or three most intelligent species of bird.
that's insane.
Yeah, if you want
Wow.
to watch some cool corvid videos, New Caledonian crows.
I might have to ask you to DM me a link or something later because
Yeah.
that sounds really cool. Yeah, I know that some of them can get even to be around like in the intelligence of equivalent to like a 7-year-old too. So
Mhm.
Yes.
it's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a little farm, like so I live in downtown San Diego, and we have a farm like 50 minutes east, and my boyfriend's there all the time, and we go out for half the week. And I have started. We have picked we picked a location and put a bowl down because they'll come down. The crows come down and eat with our animals because we have
Yeah.
ducks and geese and pigs and goats. And so my boyfriend a few years ago started tossing, like, he learned that if you don't look them directly in the eye, but you acknowledge them and you toss food in their direction, that they'll stay close. And
Mm,
okay, so I guess it's a respect thing between them. I don't know.
yeah.
So we started doing that, but then I thought, you know what? I remember because we've volunteered at a lot of animal sanctuaries, and a place in Oklahoma, they rehabbed a ton of birds, and then they would have all of these different, the birds would, they just release them on their property, and the birds would stick around. So you'd go to eat lunch outside, and it was like a scene out of Snow White. It was amazing. So I was like, you know what? They had this whole ring of peanuts. I know that crows like peanuts, so I just started getting unsalted peanuts, and I put it out there for them. And somebody left a bell in my a little like ringing bell in my building, so I brought it out. And so every time I walk out with the peanuts, I ring it. But they're totally starting. Okay, our goat is totally trained by it now too.
Yeah.
But the crows will. I'll see them. They'll just like fly out to the trees, and they totally watch me. And now they come down almost as soon as I turn around. Like, at first, like, they kept their distance until I walked away, but it's getting closer and closer. So it's really cool. It's
That's
super
so
cool.
cool
Yeah.
to see them trusting you like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's insane.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. They do, for some odd reason, if one of our doves ever escapes out of our aviary, twice now they've chased after them aggressively, and I had to rescue one. I don't even know why that happened, because there's wild doves that live in our property. So I actually want to sit down and like have a talk with like
Yeah.
the crow tribe, like some type of astral projection where I'm just like, can we
Yeah.
agree to not, like, these are the most innocent, sweet. I don't know if you can hear him. He's crooning. One of them's crooning right now. Like, why? But anyway, okay, that's enough. Sorry, it's enough bird talk.
I'll say this last thing. I just want to say
Yeah,
this last thing.
please, please.
If you are gonna do that, at least from what I've done when it comes to wanting to connect like in the astral, like
Yes.
setting that intention right before bed. I mean, this is probably something
Hmm.
you know, but like I literally did it last night, and I was like, okay, Star Family, and like literally like in one of my dreams, like I saw one like shot up from like the ground to like the sky. So
Yeah.
it's like it's cool, you know. They listen. They're always listening. So I bet with them too, you could probably do that.
Okay. Yes, I will. Thank you for the reminder. I will set that intention because things in the astral have been wild this week. I don't know about anybody else, but I sent a
Hmm.
whole voice note to Shannon and our friend Amber, like, dude, we were doing some work. Well, anyway,
No kidding.
I want to turn this back to you here. So, everyone, please welcome Felly, amazing
I
musical, not I almost said conductor. So you know what? I'm just going to let you
yeah.
introduce yourself. Just go.
Yeah.
Just tell us all the great things about you. And it's not coming from ego. It's coming from love.
You know it, 100%. That's the only way. My name's
Yeah.
Felly. I go by, yeah, just Felly, but my full name's Felipe. Call me whatever you want, really. I'm a music producer. And so I actually channel music from the divine, from my star family, probably your star family too. And it's a crazy story as to how I got into it. I've been doing this for, man, I want to say maybe 12, 13 years at this point. And music's just always been a part of me. It's always been a part of me. And I didn't really know that I was actually channeling any sort of being up until I want to say maybe a few years ago. It just started off with me as a little kid, just always playing the drums on something, whether it was my lap or whether it was on the, on a desk or something. And as I got older, right, I started to get into DJing. I started to learn different things about DJing, specifically like mixing songs together. And I would hear them in my head. They would just come up in my head. And it was like I heard the finished product already, right? Anybody that's a musician here might know what I'm talking about. I mean,
Emily.
that's
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. So, you probably know what I'm talking about, right? It's like you just hear it maybe before, and it's cool because I thought it was just my mind, right? And come down the line, right, I start developing some skills, and I want to say in 2018, that's where I started to really feel that something was different. Like the way that I was coming up with the music, there was like some subtle energy behind it that wasn't necessarily mine, but I couldn't really put a finger to it. Um, yeah, and the whole story behind it's actually really, really crazy. I'll have to
Tell
backtrack
us.
because yeah,
Yeah.
so what happened was, and that was just the music side of it, right? And the ET phenomenon ties in very heavily with this because I've been an experiencer since I was a child. So I was I was literally just a little kid, I would say maybe 4 or 5 years old, and I would see shape-shifting beings in my house all the time. I mean, it was on a very consistent basis. I would turn on the lights and I would see like a little, sometimes it would be like a shadowy figure, but it was maybe no taller than like 2 3 feet tall, and it would usually be in the corner of either my room, or it would be like in the living room or in the hallway, and it would be kind of crouched down in the corner, and it would disappear when I would look at it. So it was always on the corner of my eye.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was really great. If any of you watch anime, and I never even watched anime as a kid, but it looked like an anime character. Like it had like the hair that kind of looked like it was drawn, like the spiky, jagged kind of
Mhm.
hair. Um, I would see that multiple times, and I mean, it was even happening where my toys would turn on by themselves, and my mom told me this because I was really little when that happened, so I didn't even remember that detail. But she told me that my toys would turn on by themselves, um, and it was really crazy because
Huh.
as it kept progressing, this is where the shape shifting beings come in too, um, and the orbs. There was orbs and shape shifting beings. I at one point saw, and it was just it first started, it was very like inconsistent, but then it became more consistent where there was an orb. I want to say probably the size, maybe like half the size of that door over there, and it would sit there in front of my parents' room. And I had this habit every night of going to my parents' room every night. And I would go to the door and it was there. The orb would just flicker different colors,
Hmm.
and I remember it clear as day. If any of you are familiar, of course, with Christopher Bledsoe and his
Mhm.
his encounters with the orbs, it was just like that, but it was in the house. Um, and
Wow.
yeah, and Sunfire Goddess says born with telekinesis, and like that's exactly what it was because I would communicate with this orb on a telepathic level, and he would tell me, or it would tell me, hey, like it's all good. I'm just here in front of your parents' room. I just want to make sure things are cool, but go ahead. Like that was the message that it would give me, and it would move to the side. And then it became like a nightly thing where I'm like, hey man, look what's good, And he was like, yeah, go ahead. Every night it was the same thing. So super benevolent, super cool experience. Um, and at the time I was also going to Catholic school. So I was praying all the time. I don't know, it was
Yeah.
and I look back at it now and it's like, okay, but this was part of my curriculum in this lifetime, was to go through that to develop a sense of faith, right? And it wasn't even because as I had those experiences, I didn't attach myself to one specific belief. Um, I kind of, even on an intuitive level, felt okay, but like what I'm learning in Catholic school is part of something that's greater, right? And so and that's kind of what for me left me open to seeing all the different perspectives on what all the beliefs, religions are trying to say.
Yeah.
um and not even to get religious, but that was just kind of like how I saw things. Um and the reason why I bring up the Catholic school thing in particular was because then the shape shifting being came, where it was a 7 foot tall angelic being. It was literally taller than that door over there, and it would have to poke its head and bow down to be able to like peek into my room. And it was an angelic figure that looked like your typical angel with the wings, like in your children's storybooks.
Yeah.
um and it was just really crazy. It didn't have a face, and it was really crazy too to me because I later on in life came to understand that the phenomena, the ET, not even just the ET phenomena, but the very universal phenomenon, it taps into our consciousness because they're higher dimensional beings. These beings can access your consciousness the way that I could walk into a room, the way that I could, walk into my car. I mean, it's just that easy. They have that type of access. So, and that's
So
not
which
the
means so do we then, right?
in what do you mean, in what aspect?
Like if they're showing you what they're capable of, it's probably letting you know that you have the potential or you're capable of this as well.
Totally. Totally. And I didn't, and the thing is that it was, and I'm glad that you bring that up. It's a very I don't even know the word for it. It's a very, like, not simultaneous, but what's that word? It's a specific word where it's mutual, like a
Mhm,
mutual
Mhm.
Relationship,
mhm.
right? Where,
Symbiotic.
yes, thank you. Yes, that's
Symbiotic,
the
that's
word.
good. Good one,
Symbiotic. Yes.
Shannon.
Yes. Killed it. Yes, that's exactly the word that I was talking about. It's like you have that ability just as much as they have that ability because you are able to connect with the phenomenon, right?
Mhm.
And it's crazy because again, they would always come to me at night that way, and I wasn't dreaming, but I would also have dreams with them too. So it was both. Um, and what's the difference between dreams and reality anyway, right? It's like really
Very
almost the
little.
same thing. It's
Yeah.
very, very little, right? It's almost the same thing. Um, so pretty much tying this back to music, right? This is where I was very musically interested at that time, and it kept developing. And it was funny because as I got older, I was trying to fit in more with the friends at school, and so that connection with the phenomenon started to kind of weaken a little bit. And it would still pop up here and there, but it would start to weaken a little bit, and that was just me integrating with society,
Mhm.
integrating with the world. So
Yep.
it was my rite of passage, if you will. But then it started to pick up again. I want to say in Hmm. I want to say maybe 2014 and 15 is where it started to pick up again. I've had it where I would have dreams of UFO craft, and then
Mhm.
I would wake up and I would actually hear helicopters over my house. And so that was just a big confirmation. That happened
Yeah.
multiple times.
Yeah.
Um, and, you know, not even just that, but I mean, even when I got my wisdom teeth removed, I mean, they showed up right when I was waking up out of the anesthesia. It was like a rainbow colored vision, and like I saw like a little UFO come up and then leave. So like I noticed that they're also very interested in our development of our
Mhm.
own consciousness,
Yeah.
which is really cool. I just love hearing also other people's experiences too, and how they tie so closely to mine too. Um, and so, man, there's just so much that I want to share. I don't even know where else to go next. There's so much.
Well, I have 2 questions, and then maybe
Yeah.
it'll guide you back to the next part. So the first one here, I got your information up on the screen too, but Shannon, who is that?
That's John. Dexter, there's an issue with the space around my chair. Ronnie Bell drug a dog bed over here, and Dexter will not climb on the dog bed to get in the chair. So I was like, John, will you put him up here? Because he wanted to get up here. Sorry.
You're like, drama. Okay. And so, well, we can hear the snorting. It's adorable. Okay. So I have 2 questions here. I'm going to go in order. When you hear music from the astral realm, is it similar to any other artist?
Honestly, so that's a good question because what happens is that I listen to a lot of music,
Mm,
mainly house music right now. That's my main focus. Um, it it sometimes sounds similar because I feel that we're tapping into the collective consciousness at that point, right? So I don't like the universal consciousness. So I feel that one way or another, it is a little bit derivative sometimes. Um, but it's the melody ideas are they feel very original to me. They feel given to me. It's not something that
mm.
I'm coming up with. It's just like, here, we want you to do this. Do this. Just put this on the program and make it.
Do you speak light language?
No, not necessarily. I've been interested in it though. Um,
I can activate you if you want. Because when I first was given the gift of light language, I do it with my hands. But then
mhm.
the second shift of it was verbal, and the first part of it was singing. So that's why I asked.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I've never light language for me. I've looked into it and like how people will draw it out and write it out. Um, I always used to I memorized Star Wars language as a kid. I
Mhm.
feel like that was definitely for me something that was indicative of my star lineage, if you will, because I was just
Yeah,
always into that as a kid. But no, to answer the question more directly, yeah, when I hear music in the astral realm, it does sound original, although there's a knowing also under that there's of course a source to everything, as we all are part of that source.
yeah,
So it sometimes energetically it can either feel like it's coming from my higher self, or it will be coming from my star family. So
mhm.
it just depends on the signature, and it's more of like a knowing. I can't even really describe it. There's just differences in the energetic composure, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Now, has your star family revealed some of your star lineages? Because I mean, clearly, from what I'm getting, you've been incarnated in several different star races, if you will.
Yeah, that's a good question too. I've and the thing with me that was really tricky when I first started to remember again, kind of like my origins, and remember that I'm not just this physical body, right? Because as a kid, I was like
Yeah.
it was very obvious to me. It was just very obvious to me. But then again, as I got older, I went through the programming and everything like that. Um, I when it comes to my actual lineage, I mean, I truly believe that ultimately pure consciousness, of course, right? As we all are.
Yeah.
And I do feel drawn a lot to Arcturians. I'm very analytical. I'm very, very analytical. Um, I do resonate with Pleiadians too. I had an obsession with technology as a kid, and I still do. Um, so I would probably say those, and Syrians too.
Syrians are
Syrians,
musical. Yeah, very musical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, and I always used to be obsessed with again as a kid, I was always obsessed with Sirius, the star, like the star.
Yeah.
And
Series B.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. And there was a object, the celestial object too, and I can't remember the name of it. Ceres, like Ceres, I think it was called.
Hmm.
Yes.
So I've always been obsessed with that one as a kid too. So that was kind of what helped me understand that. But then, of course, through meditation, through downloads, I would quite literally be told Pleiadian, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. But
Yeah.
I would have to sit there deep for that one. I didn't. But to answer the full question, I don't feel completely attached to any of them in the sense that like it's my identity. I just feel like yeah, maybe either in a parallel life or even now, like
Hmm.
they all walk with me. I feel like they
Yes.
all walk with me in a way. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I sorry, go ahead, Shannon.
I was going to say, like, particularly your music, it was funny because you started with Arcturian. I got Arcturian Pleiadian. Like, that's the vibe the music had. So,
Interesting.
from whenever, but that was just for me. It's Kimberly's going to play some. You guys put.
Did it work? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the first time I've switched what's called scenes, and I just wanted to play some of his music for a moment there. Okay. Um, Shannon, I'm sorry. Did that interrupt you?
Oh no, Lola started singing again, so I muted it for a second.
Yeah, she's channeling something, I'm telling
She
you.
does. Like every time that music plays, she starts going.
That's so cute. Okay, I'll put her. I'll put it back on in a moment. Okay, so I got a download while really right now, but and I haven't thought of star races in this way until this moment. The top ones that we always hear about and refer to, like Syrians, Arcturians, Palladians, they are more common because they are here as like ambassadors. They have chosen to as a star seed assist, and that is why a lot of us connect to it. A lot of us are from those soul families, and so we came down here to assist humanity. So of course, it's almost like we're not a translator, but like a representative, right?
Mhm.
But and I got a hit on a race that doesn't always come up, so I looked it up, and then I'm not going to tell you what it is at first. I'm going to read some of the traits and see if this feels like this would be part of you,
Mhm.
and then and you can just let me know. This is an experiment. Highly independent, logical, tech savvy, deeply philosophical, known for having a strong moral compass and act as protectors of freedom and independent ideas. Many of this race are viewed as disruptors of oppressive systems, highly skilled at detecting manipulation or corruption in ideologies and governments, and often gravitate towards roles in positive social change, politics, or technological innovation. And then a life mission as light workers, your purpose is often to help humanity transition to higher states of consciousness by sharing your understanding of community, self sufficiency, and ethical technology.
I would say that a good 80 to 85% of that resonates pretty hard.
Okay,
Yeah.
then look up Alpha Centauri and Starseeds.
Yes, I have a song that's literally called Alpha Centauri B, and I was obsessed with the show Lost in Space. For I literally rewatched the series like twice. Like I'm obsessed with that
Okay,
show. So
well, there's
yeah,
a reason.
yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
came
That
through really
resonates.
strong.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah,
That definitely hits and resonates. So I appreciate you bringing that up. Yeah,
yeah.
that's that I was very obsessed with. And that was in 2018 when I made the track Alpha Centauri B. Um, it's part of my album Tesseract Explorer. Um,
Oh, cool.
yeah, so that album also, so that was a lot of the beats that are on that album are channeled too, but that was at a time where I didn't know that I was even really channeling because that was around the 2018 era is
Yeah.
where I started to make those. And again, there was just a very subtle energy and like a I miss the stars. I miss, you know, like my parallel life, or honestly, wherever I'm projecting my consciousness from to be here right now. Because I was also hit with a download that I'm 100%, and we all are technically projecting our consciousness from higher up, right? But you know, specifically that also I was living and I am living a parallel life out there too. So it's
Hmm.
one thing that even as a kid I was always just wishing to go back, you know. And but it's cool being here. I know that I got something to do with the music here because um yeah.
Well, you're activating people with your music and you're helping them connect to remember who they are, whether they're conscious of that or not, but they're going to find your music when they need it, you know?
Yeah, and that's the intention that I set too with it is that I wanted to find whoever is meant to find it, whoever needs to find it, right? Because within those songs too, I embed healing frequencies into each song too. So, you know, that one that you were just playing right now was 432 hertz, the frequency of the universe, right? So, I have another one that I just came out with, which is tuned to 528 hertz for your solar plexus, for your you know, for your solar plexus chakra. So, you know, and these songs, especially the more recent ones, I want to say since 2024 is when it became very obvious, like very obvious that they were channeling through me. And it was really crazy because I remember sitting there working on a song and then my hands started just moving by themselves. Like it was put this here, put that there, put this sound here, pick this specific sound, don't pick that one, pick this one, and then structure it this way. And then yeah, it was just
Wow.
really crazy. It was automatic.
Yeah.
And this was at the same time that I was going through my spiritual reawakening, if you will.
Hmm.
Um, and it was just really crazy because at this time I was, you know, I was doing the gateway tapes too, the Monroe gateway tapes. So just
Oh, yeah.
having I was just having, yeah, really crazy consciousness expanding experiences too. And I opened myself up to reconnecting with my star family again. And it was just
Hmm.
really, and they were always there too, but it was more like, okay, hey, like it's time for you to remember again, like take off that veil off of your head. So
Yeah.
yeah, it
Well,
was
I
really
think
crazy.
we get shut not shut down, but I think we get disconnected a little from our mission when we need to take a minute. Like when we need to like so much has come in and it's so much for this avatar or the state of being that you're given the option probably to take a break, and I think most of us do. We
Yeah.
incorporate all of it. It goes where it needs to go, and then all of a sudden we wake up again and we're like, "Oh my god, like I'm behind, there's all these things that what happened to me, But okay, where
Yeah.
Astro Lisa wants to know where we can find your music. I'll let you.
Yes, yes. So you can actually, I'm everywhere. Pretty much anywhere that you can listen to music. Type in Dusk Music. That's DUSK, and music. So two words, Dusk Music, and I have all my songs on there. Well, I mean, I'm actually a lot of the channeled material. You can start finding that in Tesseract Explorer, Unknown Regions. That's another one. That one was also fully channeled. Um, there's some songs within, again, Tesseract Explorer that were channeled. Some of them I know they come directly from my human mind, if you will.
Yeah,
But there's also a lot of them that are channeled there too. And I have an album called Open Contact, actually, that's coming out this summer, and that one is another house music album that's fully channeled again from my star family, and I'm super stoked to give that to you guys. That one is all the frequencies are on there. 852 hertz for your intuition, 444 hertz for your heart, 432 hertz, 528. They're all there. So yeah, Dusk Music, again, you can find it even on YouTube. It's on YouTube Music too, if you want to check that out. So yeah.
beautiful. All right,
Yeah.
everybody. Yeah, definitely go there. Um, and then do you have any suggestion on how to utilize it for different, like obviously if you say there's one for your solar plexus, and so would you say set the intention in meditation or while you're working on something, when you're manifesting something, like what was your purpose?
Yeah, I mean, it really comes down to listening them on a repeatable basis. I feel that, with anything, it's not like a one and done process, right? So, I
Yeah.
mean, however one feels that meditation is for them, right? I mean, if you want to go on a walk and listen to it, if you want to, quantum dancer is a really good one for like actually sitting down and meditating, because there's parts where it's just binaural audio. um but like otherwise, for me, one of my meditation practices is the gym. I like going to the gym,
Yeah.
so I like to, sometimes I'll throw on one or two if it's in my playlist. But use it to how you feel called to do it. It's very free flowing. If you like to dance, go do some somatic dancing and dance your heart out.
Yeah.
It just depends on how you want to use it. That's what I always recommend. It's just how you want to use it.
Okay.
Mhm.
Everybody has different different ways of going about pulling new things into their repertoire, I guess. So
Yeah.
Astro Elise
Yeah.
already found it on iTunes. That's great.
Sweet.
We did
Awesome.
have one other question, and I don't want to get too far away because when you were talking about when you were younger, our
Oh,
friend.
there's more there too. Yeah, there's more there too. Way more. Way
Okay,
more. Yeah.
so our friend Sunfire Goddess wants to know: did you make any friends with kids at school that had the same abilities?
So what's crazy is that I think at the time, so my first friend actually, he lived right across the street from me. Um, and he was, I think he was kind of tapped into, because we had a sleepover one time, and we both heard, because I had a bunch of Legos, right? Big
Hmm.
Lego Star Wars fan. And I had all my Legos set up on these drawers. And Legos, if you know anything about Legos, is like once you
I do.
stick them on together, like they can't just fall apart on their own, right?
Yeah.
And that's exactly what
Oh,
happened that night, is that a Lego piece that was stuck to another one, got taken off and fell down, and we both heard it. And I looked, and the piece was like super far away from where like the Lego set was, and we both heard it. So I mean, we were both there for that. I didn't meet anybody otherwise really as a kid that would see things. I was pretty alone, to be honest with you. I
yeah.
was I was pretty alone in my experiences, and I would try to tell my mom and my dad about it, and they kind of believed me, kind of didn't. um and it was funny because I always used to say too, I always used to be really freaked out by lampposts in particular, and I used to call them the Watchers. And I didn't know what that was. I just like they just spooked me, and I would just keep saying Watchers, 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 and I would draw these like stick figures of like these really tall beings. Um, and it's like I think it was what like recently I stumbled upon the Book of Enoch and how they talk about the Watchers, and so
Mm,
that really had me like, whoa, okay, future self, like you're really coming through right now and like trying to tell me stuff as a kid. So I was alone with
yeah.
that though. Is my point. It was just it was me and my higher self, I guess, for the most part. It wasn't until um these past few years where I started to understand like the science of frequency and how you know your vibration is going to give you exactly what you are in this reality and it's going to respond to you that way, right, based on your frequency. It is when I started to meet people that were attuned, and it was crazy because it would either be online or it would be
Mhm.
even in person. The in-person interactions were more rare, I would say.
Yeah.
But yeah, like way more rare. Online it's like I had a whole community, you know, like on Reddit, the experiencers
Mhm.
community on Reddit, where it was a big one for me. You know, like all those online communities were really supportive, but then I started to meet them in person. So it wasn't until recently that, to answer the question, I started to actually like meet people that had the abilities to see or hear, or you know, depending if you're clairaudient, clairvoyant, and
Mhm.
etc. So yeah,
Yeah. Did you did you ever find Maisha Johnson and the experiencer groups that she runs?
I don't think so. No.
Okay, never mind. They're if anyone's interested in finding groups, they she hosts about 9 Zoom calls per month with other experiencers, and so if you wanted to talk to other people about what you're going through and finding that type of community, although I think we can do it here too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm at home now. I'm
Yeah.
already at home now. Like it's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. I know. So do you did you well okay, when people say that most of their learning and experiences have been alone, I believe that we actually incorporate more and learn to trust more when we don't have someone to bounce it off of,
I agree with that.
right? Yeah, and I
Mhm.
think that's probably why some of us get further along because that teaches us how to be sovereign and authentic.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you. I'm grateful that I had that time, you know, and
Yeah.
it was definitely intentional. You know, it's funny too because I mean, looking back at it now, like again, you can see how that period of isolation or any period that you go through, for lack of better words, is like super intentional. And again, part of the curriculum. Like I always go back to
Mhm.
that. Like, what's our curriculum in this life? And like we usually can see it when we look back at our past. You know, it always has
Mhm.
the answers. So I think that having that time to myself and my own experiences was really necessary. I want to bring up that actually in 2022, because this was part of my experience. You know, would see again craft. I would see visitations and dreams, but then my first shared experience was in 2022, where I was at the beach with somebody and she said, "Hey, do you see that?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" And then I looked up and I saw it. It was a V-shaped craft, a V-shaped like boomerang UFO craft.
Yeah.
And I just got the phone and I recorded, and I have the video too. Um, and I recorded the video. Oh, there goes your, is that your
Yeah.
bird? Yeah.
That's a quail. Yeah, they're
Uh,
are you speaking on behalf of the avian bird tribe?
I,
The blue
maybe it was
avians?
them. Maybe it was them. Maybe it
So
was them.
funny. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a cloaked craft and it was mirroring the sky. Like you literally could see the outline of it, but you couldn't see
Mm.
the actual craft itself. It was just like
Oh,
as if it was part of the sky itself, but it was too low to be a plane or
yeah.
any other craft. And it wasn't a flock of birds because I would have seen the different birds like
Yeah.
all making the shape. So, and she saw it first. So that was the first time that I had like a shared experience. So I mean, again, to tie it back to that question as to, you know, if I had anybody else see, you know, anything of that nature, that just popped up in my head too. That was another one. But I'm going all over the place at this point.
No, that's great. It's we need we need to be able to share some experiences or talk to other people, bring something up that you realize you've never spoken out loud before and have a reciprocal experience. Like those are like what would you say along your journey? Um,
Yes, the curriculum.
yeah,
Mhm.
you have to. Shannon, what do you? Oh, are you quiet because of?
Yeah, like a guidepost. You know, it's like when you're going, you have these little beacons along the way. Oh
Yeah.
no, we lost him.
Oh, I'm sure he'll be right back. Oh, internet. Um, I'm sure. Let's see. Well, it's a good picture. Yeah, he dropped out of the chat, but I'm sure he can just sign right back on. Um, God, what a trip, huh? Yeah, breadcrumbs is what I was thinking. Like these
Yeah,
little,
like little breadcrumbs, guideposts. Because
yeah,
even though I know for me, even though I know what I'm doing,
there.
man, it's really nice sometimes to get that like little hint of confirmation. So you're like, yes, I'm on the right track.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I lost connection, but I feel like I kind of got what you were saying there. I'm
yeah. We
listening
didn't
to.
change the subject,
Okay.
and this happens in lives all the time. So
Yeah,
don't
yeah, yeah.
worry. Sometimes it's in the middle of a very intense subject, which is
Mhm.
always ironic when somebody drops. But it's also confirmation that you are like synchronicity. Synchronicity happens when
Yeah.
you are exactly where you're supposed to be, and it reminds you. You know.
Yeah, I was gonna literally say that, even though again I missed the part that she was saying, but specifically how there's beacons,
Yeah.
and I love how those beacons can show up in different ways for everybody. I mean,
Yeah.
for it's cool, and you can start to kind of see from what aspect of your consciousness is it coming from? Is it coming from your higher self? Is it coming from your star family?
Hmm.
It takes time and it shows up differently for everybody, but then through the repeated like the effort, or not even the effort, because it's not effort, but I would say with the intention to actually like spot it, not that you're looking for, but you're open or receptive
Hmm.
to receiving synchronicity,
And
right?
trusting it. Yeah.
Yeah, and just trusting it. Yeah, because I feel like it's very easy to for people to like start to look for it, but it's like just
Yeah.
being open to it is where it will come to you, Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing about synchronicities is we forget that it's not that we look at the clock at 11:11 every day. That's pattern recognition.
Right.
What made you look at the clock?
Right.
That's your intuition.
Mhm.
The
You
thought.
know? Yeah.
Hmm.
Why did you look at a license plate and see your numbers line up?
Right, right.
And then
Yeah.
it gets way bigger. Like my synchronicities are so mind blowing that I think I'm making this shit up
Me
sometimes.
too. Me too. I know. I know. I
Like
know.
there's no way.
I
There's
do the
no way.
same.
Yeah.
Yeah. It happened to me the other day because my higher self always my higher self always says 9/17, which is my birthday. So
Mm,
it's always like my higher self is always throwing 9/17 at me all the
mhm.
time. The other day it happened to me when I was making a song 9/17 on the program that I use, FL Studio. Because it shows me how much memory I'm using for like
Mhm.
on the computer, and it would say like 1,917 megabytes. And then I went to Target and it's like, oh, like I'm walking in the specific direction that I decided to walk past. And again, that makes me think about,
Yeah.
how our higher selves are working through us as physical vessels that we are also,
Mhm.
and working through us to do the things that we came here to do, and that's part of the curriculum. And it's in those moments where I see like my numbers or I'm at the right place at the right time, and it's like, okay, cool, like I'm here doing my directive, I'm doing what's part of my curriculum. And it's just cool to think about how, again, like when you cross paths with people, like is that part of your curriculum? And it's just something that,
Mhm.
to think about, like it's just really cool. I love stuff like that.
Yeah.
You have the
The
same birthday as my sister.
Oh, there you go.
She's a 9/17 too.
There you go.
I'm always
That's
looking for
crazy.
9/17. It's
oh,
part of my number sequence.
Check that
in
out.
in our chat on Instagram, I asked him. I said, "What's your sign? I'm getting fire or a Virgo?" Yeah, they're
Yeah.
like you're an evolved Virgo. Like I was picking that up pretty quickly. That's
That's
cool.
funny.
That's super cool.
Wow. Yeah, I don't
Um,
know. It's cool you picked that up.
we're psychic, by the way.
Oh, I know.
I didn't even tell you that part.
I,
I mean,
I you didn't need to tell me. You didn't need to tell me. I knew that.
at this
That was
point,
just obvious from the very beginning.
at
Super
this point,
obvious. Yeah.
yeah. So, huh? Oh, yes. I wanted to ask you.
Yes.
Every time you get for like when you realize that you're getting further along and um in creating music and getting downloads and it's like you're getting closer to the source of information and it's starting to be more symbiotic. Are other abilities kicking in as well? Are you noticing that any of your clairs coming online or
Yeah, so when it comes to the music, when I'm making it, yeah, clear audience is super heightened. I mean, it is like super super peak because at that point, this just happened to me the other day. I was working on a song, and then my higher self was like practically yelling at me. He yells at me half the time. He's like, "Dude, you need to get into meditation now." Like he's like, "Go now," and I was
yeah.
like, "Okay, okay," and I went over there. And then I just sat there and I'm like, okay, I'm open. And then my higher self was like, okay, work on this remix. You need to do this remix. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll go do it. And it's literally like I could just hear it. It's not like a voice, like I'm hearing voices. It's just like there,
Hmm.
It's like an all-encompassing, just knowing that my higher self is pinging me, So the clairaudience for sure. Um, and then I mean, usually other times I don't want to say it's random, but like Claire, I want to say what's the one where you can sense the feeling. There's like a feeling. Like you can sense a presence.
Somebody put it in the chat. I can never remember any of the clairs. I have all of
Yeah, I
them, but I
know.
can't remember what any of them are called.
There's Claire audience, Claire sentience, which is where you can see um
Yeah.
that one sometimes comes online for me when I astral project, lucid dream. I love doing those things. That's like I love doing that.
Hmm.
That's I would say that yeah, they come online sometimes. Precognitive too, that
Hmm.
happens from time to time.
Hmm.
Um, Telethought, I don't know if that's the one. Is that the one? The one where you can like sense that there's something beyond this realm that's near you or around
Oh,
you.
clear sentience.
Is that what it is? Like sentience? Yeah.
I think so. Clear
Okay.
cognizance is knowing, and I think sentience is the like when a like for me it's a being like when a being is
Mhm.
in the room.
Yeah. Clairvoyant. Okay. Yeah. Clair sentience. Clair.
I knew Emily was going to do it. Thanks. I almost just let Emily look it up. Okay. Claire
Yeah,
aliens. Huh.
Yeah, I've never heard of the
Clairvoyant.
aliens one. Maybe
is
that's
that
what it
the
is.
taste?
Maybe. See, I have synesthesia, but I don't ever think about what it's called in the clairs.
Mm,
Okay, feeling is clear aliens. Huh, interesting. All right, write that down.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the music though, when I'm channeling the music, I mean, I first of all, I usually try to just get in an open space, clear the energy,
Yeah.
and connect only with my star family, my higher self. I try to be really like on point with that because I don't want just anything coming through, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and and they come through. They come through, and sometimes they give me space to also just again let my mind manufacture something from scratch. But
Mhm.
there's times where they're like, no, like we need to come in. You need to do this, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do it. You know,
I
I
think that's the
agree.
fire sign. I think your higher self is a fire sign, a Sagittarius, because that when I was thinking of what your sign is, it was dual. And so I don't even know why I got fire because that's open or Virgo because I can sense a dualistic personality in you, which I don't usually pick
Interesting.
up on people. But
Hmm.
there's nothing wrong there. It's not like
Yeah, yeah.
unwelcome, you know?
That's something that resonates with me though because I do feel that way sometimes. Like sometimes I'll get like a random just crazy burst of energy, and again, it doesn't feel like it's coming from me, and I'm like, okay, like
Can I
I'm
have
here.
one of those? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here for it. Yeah.
Yeah,
My
please.
rise Astro Elisa said or rising sign, which yeah, mine's a Scorpio. I'm a Scorpio rising.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I usually guess people's risings before I guess their signs. Yeah. Huh.
I love it. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool when they come through. And especially because I want to say there was one time in particular that I was making a song, and then again, that was when they made it very obvious that they were coming through to me. Um, and I just felt like such a crazy connection to everything. Like it was like a point of pure consciousness. It felt like childlike wonder again,
Yeah.
and just seeing the world from a blank slate, and it was just so inspiring. And I was like, oh my goodness, like this is what it feels like to just be a kid again and not have any imprint in your mind as to who I think I am or anything of that nature.
Before
Um,
before the world told you who you're supposed to be.
Exactly. Yeah, it was literally like that. And that was one of the concepts that they came through with me on. It was on the song Who Are You? They literally were like, "Okay, yeah, but who are you actually? Like, like what is you anyway, you know?" So
Yeah.
it was really cool.
Ask Lisa's. She's going to do her whole chart here for you. Do you know what your moon is?
Man, I think it's a Sagittarius.
Oh, there you
I think
go.
it is. I
Yeah.
had someone tell me it was because they mapped out my my um my whole thing. And it's
Yeah.
funny because I've always been, a person that gravitates towards the stars and everything like that. But funny enough, I've never gotten super into the weeds of, anything related to like astrology or anything
Yeah.
like that. I don't know why. I guess it was just more of like I
We
had other things to do. I don't know.
yeah, we pour our
Yeah.
attention to different things. It's funny
Yeah.
because I always guess half the time I guess someone's rising sign because it is like how people see you. It's the mask you wear in public. A lot of times that'll come through more. But then, like Rich Lop is an astrologer, and he says he always guesses people's moon sign. So it's
Mm,
interesting that. Do you here's a random question, but I didn't want to forget to ask you from before. And this it kept coming up with your music. Do you know who Tyel is? Tyel Feels,
no, I don't
the
think so.
creator, because you two remind me of each other. He's extremely galactic, and he has downloaded like every light language there is. Although when we do light language, we're actually speaking through our own voice. It's like I know people isolate them, but once you work through all that, it actually comes through as like your own language, which I
Mhm.
believe you're doing with your music. But
Yeah,
look up Tyel at some point because if you feel like you two would connect, I can connect you if you want.
please.
I
Yeah.
I think you would be a really powerful connection when it comes to music and work because he does the same thing, implements all the codes and intentions into his music.
Mm.
A lot of people do, but then there are certain people where you're like, oh no, those two people would work together really well. So
I am with it.
yeah,
I am
he's
totally with it.
amazing. He's incredible. He's incredible. Yeah, okay, well remind me and I'll connect you guys
Yeah.
outside of here. Okay. Oh,
So
yeah, Shannon, take
I
it
was going
away.
to say, what is your next project that you're working on?
Excellent question.
Yeah. So as I was saying before, I have a current album that's almost done. It's called Open Contact, and that one I've been working very closely with my Star family on, and it's been in the works for man pretty much almost a year. I actually have two. I have two projects. The way that it started was I actually have one called The Universe Knows, which was the project that was very obvious to me that I was channeling. That's still unreleased. I didn't release that one yet because there's still a few things I have to work on with that. But Open Contact is the one that I've been putting most of my focus on right now, and that's the one where I'm still actively channeling even right now. I was literally working on something yesterday. So that's the next one that's slated for I want to say like a June release. So
Awesome.
right around the time of the Disclosure Day movie, actually ironically,
So
which
it's
again
funny.
I already had it kind of planned for around that time, and then it's like now that movie's coming out, so I was like, okay,
Perfect.
Now, do
yeah,
you have a single on there that's called Disclosure? Because the whole time you're talking, I'm like, you should have a single called Disclosure. And then my second question is, do you ever work with binaural beats or multi
Yes.
Have you tried? Okay, awesome.
So that Quantum Dancer song that we were playing earlier, actually,
Yeah.
it does sample some audio of a binaural track. And I always talk about this. I tell everybody about this channel, The Power of You. It's a fantastic channel. I can't recommend it enough. Changed my life. And yeah, I sampled Quantum Dancer. I sampled some parts from that track. And that's actually Quantum Dancer in particular. The sample is a brain heart coherence track. So if you know anything about that, yeah, brain
Yes,
and
we
heart
do.
coherence is super. It's the magic within us. Really, it
Mhm.
really is. So that track, I did sample some parts of that. But again, The Power of You is a really great channel, and they have binaural tracks, and I do work with them quite frequently. The most recent song that I came out with, Solar Communication, that was from a dream, and that was also channeled from the sun in particular and from my star family. So it was like a big collaboration. Um, and there's pure tones of 528 hertz there. There's no binaural audio. It's just a pure tone track.
Mhm.
Again, with a channeled bass line. So really fun. And yeah, the thing is that I should have known, because as a kid, again, they were always there and made themselves very present. And it just took some time for me to realize what my mission was here was for here. And it's just to give everybody a dose of some ETs, some Star Family music,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
just remember where we also all come from. We're beyond all of this, but also a part of it at the same time. It's just here and everywhere all at once.
Well, music's a universal language.
Yeah.
So it's very cool that you've tapped into it in that way. I do have a question for you, but I don't want to forget to say this. Our friend Amber in Maui is going to join us pretty soon, so she's going to hop on. I didn't want to surprise you. Um, oh, and friends who are watching, Shannon and I realized that we did not get to talk about the conference at all last week, and so we are going to dedicate the second half of this when Amber joins us, and we've invited Philly to hang out and listen if he wants to, or he can bounce.
Yes.
Um, how do you know when you're channeling that it's coming from the sun or a star family or your higher self?
It's just a very subtle energy. And over time, and the number one thing that I will say is, first of all, discernment, right? Learning the discernment between your higher self's energy, learning the difference in when it's another being, whether it's a being from like a Pleiadian or an Arcturian, or whether it's just someone tightly knit within your star family. That comes for me, that came with just overall like building up my discernment. My higher self has a very me energy, but again, just also from beyond. So I
Yeah,
know that when I feel an energy that's me, but also in a way bigger, more expansive, I know that's my higher self. Um, I know that if it's my star family or anyone of that nature, it usually is also a big energy, but it feels as if more like a cousin, or more of like a
community.
just like a distant, like a
Yeah,
community, like a collective, or like a even like a distant relative too. And it
yeah,
just feels like out there. It feels out there. And just as much as it's also within me, it just like it just feels out there. I don't know how else to explain
yeah,
it.
Yeah.
It's really cool. And it's in those moments where, especially, even not even just the feeling, but the how that manifests, right? How it actually comes out through me, through my vessel. It's
yeah,
automatic. So I just can tell the different, even the style of how I make music. Sometimes it depends how I channel the music. My higher self will do it a certain way. My star family will do it in another way. They'll organize it differently. Sometimes
Yeah.
they're more frantic, and they just get the sound, put it here, put it there, put it there. So
yeah.
it's pretty crazy.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Do you ever wake up and realize that you've composed something while you were in the astral, or
All the time. I
yeah,
My voice notes are filled with stuff, and then
yeah,
I know that it's channeled and it's actually in the astral, not just within my mind. Because we can, of course, are the when we're dreaming at night, we're usually within the confines of our subconscious until we exit the subconscious realm and actually enter the causal astral, right?
mhm,
And I can tell
Mhm.
the difference when I'm in the actual causal astral versus my subconscious, because I will remember that dream or that astral experience years later or months
Yes.
later. It stays there as if
Yes.
like I'm remembering this conversation we're having right now. It's there. It happened. It is definitive, and I can remember it just as well as I can remember this moment right now. So yeah,
Have you ever had an astral experience that stayed with you for a really long time and then it made sense like 20 years later?
yeah,
Yeah, I had a
yeah.
really big one like that. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it ties into the whole precognitive thing. For me too, it's like I will have like an experience in the astral, and then even with deja vu, then there will be a series of events that happen, and then like as it's happening, I'm seeing just like maybe a second or two into the future, and I'm like, wait, and then this happens, and then they say what they say, and I'm like, oh, yep, there you go.
Okay, so is deja vu like that for you? Do you feel like you've dreamt it instead of experienced it?
It depends. Sometimes it's like I
Yeah,
dreamt it and it's like I can't put like I can't put a name to it, but it's like right there on the tip of my
yeah,
tongue. Other times it's like, wait, no, like I've already experienced this, and it's just like an in the moment thing though. It's so
yeah,
crazy. Yeah.
yeah. That. Shannon, do you want to? What's percolating up there?
Yeah. You got something to say.
Yeah, and Shannon usually has some really good stuff to say.
No, I was just thinking one of the interesting things is there's a very religious rise in house music. And I don't mean that in like but I mean like a
Yeah.
truly everybody that's sort of vibing high no matter where you are. And your music, one of the things I thought would be interesting is you may want to check out there's a Portuguese priest,
Mm.
Father Padre Guillermo, and he like his music is really good and it's like super up because you have such an angelic connection. And you talk about that Catholic school portal. I think from earthly religions we learn a lot about things that we don't see and experience daily.
Right.
Like if it wasn't for those sorts of, and even mythology, like telling us stories about these beings, like we would have no idea. But I think it's very interesting that it's house music. And now they're starting to do research on it that it actually keeps you younger. Like it changes your telomeres in your DNA. I
Yes.
know. You're going to live forever,
That's
sister. Yes.
that is really cool. Yeah, that is really cool, and it doesn't surprise me because I've always saw house music as music for the soul.
Yeah.
Because it's more melodic. There's more danceability behind it, and even the fact that some house music has vocals or words or lyrics, but the ones that don't, especially, I can really feel the rhythm of the music. And yeah, I'm not surprised by that. I'm really not surprised by that. I'm curious if you want to maybe tell me more about that through DM or something, because I actually have a
Yeah.
song that is a Portuguese kind of house song on the
Oh, cool.
album Open Contact too. That's a synchronicity for me too. Um,
Yeah.
that's really cool. Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, I'm just trying to integrate, everything now, all my experiences that I used to keep to myself. I want to bridge that gap with my music and bring it to other people and bring not only my experiences, but I want to bring the phenomenon. I want to bring our star families closer to all of us. I mean that time is already happening anyway, and I'm just here to also to help out with that. That's the whole purpose, really. So
I think your music is getting people ready for this big shift. A lot of music, like there's bullshit music, and then there are these intentional, beautiful, activating download, like all the words, all the spiritual words, where people, without even knowing, are being divinely affected,
Yeah.
and which is helping them raise their vibration and frequency so that when open contact, which I think we already have it, we're
yeah,
contact, we're disclosure already.
yeah.
But when it really shifts and
Mhm.
we are like we're tapped in, like, okay, it's happening, y'all need to translate what's going on. You all need to tell everybody, don't fear this, whatever. I feel like you and other composers are getting people ready to be able to accept it and welcome it in without fear in a way that without your music, they wouldn't be able to do that.
Hmm.
Yeah, that does resonate, and I feel that, even with some of the BS music that you say, valid. It's also funny to me because I recognize that to be also Source is doing, or like the universe is doing,
Yeah.
and it's all the universe, the one song universe, right? So the one verse, the one song, it's all part of it, and the contrast, we also so need that, the contrasting music that seems low
Yeah.
vibrational, or seems, it's what allows us to experience that duality of this realm that we exist in.
Yeah.
And it's so cool too, because then it only highlights the opposite of that, which is this open contact that we're already having and that we're going to continuously have, and it's only going to be more and more, to the point where it's not just the orbs in the sky anymore, or the feelings that you feel at night, that there's some being there that's,
Mhm.
there, and now it's like face to face contact,
Yeah.
so,
We're all
we're,
not ready. We're not ready for that
yeah,
specifically.
that's
Like you ease into that shit. Well, I listen to trap music, so I'm not putting music down. What I
mhm.
am the what came to mind was the intentional where I can't even speak on this correctly, but I know that there's intentional music that is it almost like dumbs people down.
Oh, of course. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that was definitely but that's just the way I see it too. Again, is that we all somehow, some way, that was part of this journey
Yeah.
that we all came to be right now. And I grew up listening to that music, and I'm talking about with all the dumbing down lyrics, all the
Yeah.
degrading lyrics, everything. And it was funny because even when I would listen to that, like my brain would like filter that out and just listen for the beat, because I wanted to
Yeah.
understand, like, how did they make that beat? Like, I want
Yeah.
to know. Like, my or like analytical mind would come in and want to do that. But yeah, I do totally
It's
see what you
like
mean. It's crazy.
reality TV version of music.
Yeah,
That's funny.
reality TV version. I mean, this whole thing is the show. It's the
Yeah.
show of consciousness watching itself evolve through every node, every being, you, me, all that.
Yeah.
It's
The
crazy.
oversoul. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
Shannon, we have a question for you.
Oh,
Do you ever see and view your family's music and hear them in the realm?
so I do. And music is a big one for me, like my dad in particular, because mine is more of, I'm a medium, by the way. So we never told each other, kind of like, so what I'm dealing with is a lot of people who have passed on, whether they were in our lifetimes or not, more of the ancestors communication. So my dad shows up all the time in very specific music. And same thing for different members of my family. And the music is different based on the person, but not necessarily music that you would think of with that person. So, like, for example, my stepdad came across several times with bluegrass lyrics, which, I mean, I'm from Appalachia, but he was totally like into the Eagles and like 70s rock. He was not listening to bluegrass, but he's come across with bluegrass before. So I don't know. It's just maybe whatever they're trying to message to you, they tie it to. But my dad's are like superbly consistent. Like his music pops up all the time, even in places where it shouldn't. So yeah, I do.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
That is, yeah. I love how the phenomenon will also, or the phenomenon, or whether that's the phenomenon, or whether that's, again, like you said, past ones that have gone on, they'll still come through and communicate through
Mm-hmm.
music. It's
Yeah.
super cool. Yeah, yeah.
Huh. um, wow. So, before Amber jumps on here, was there anything else that you wanted to bring up or something that you have been contemplating and processing, like a concept that you want to share with people? Because, like this is going to be rewatched and out there. And
Of
so I
course.
I feel like when there's a message to be received, people find it.
Mhm.
Yeah, my message to everybody, 917 just came up, of course. Um, I would say really that when it comes down to it, it's either love or fear, and that's the choice that we're being presented with right now, and it's really about staying rooted within yourself. Like all these things that are happening seemingly outside of us, this is still a part of the grand whole that we are all a part of, and we are here to experience that duality in this realm at this time. So
Mhm.
like to choose to pay attention and put our attention outside of ourselves right now at this time and this point in time with everything going on right now,
Mhm.
like that's a choice to ultimately live in fear. To live in love is to center within yourself
Mhm.
and from there be that change that you wish that you seek, you know, and doing that, staying rooted within yourself is just the most important thing that we could do, because when we stay rooted within ourselves, we're easily able to connect with others. Okay, and not even about open contact in connecting with our star families, that too, but connecting with every one of us, because in a way, some way, shape, or form, on the deepest level, even on an atomic level, we're all part of the same material, the same source. We're literally atoms that are formulated to be these beings that we are spiritually, on a physical level, and all is part of, again, the universe, the one song. So we're all part of that. You're Everybody here is just as important as the other. We're all
Mhm.
part of the
Yep.
same exact substance. Like even again on a quantum level, like science even backs this up. So when we remember that, when we walk with that in our hearts and keep our hearts open for one another, that's how we shape the future. That's quite literally how we shape this future and collectively move ourselves to the other timeline. We have
Better.
those two timelines right now. It's
Mhm.
Yeah.
it's the one of fear, it's the one of love, and we all have a choice to choose. You know,
Yeah.
so that's my message. That's just what I have to say, and and lead with your authentic frequency. That's what it really comes down to, leading with your authentic self.
Yeah. So we have a friend named Case Parks who's amazing, also a Virgo, and one of his first videos that he made was talking about, are you going to get on the love train or the fear train, because they're
Mhm.
going in two different directions, you know. So it made me think of it, but then it also made me think of him. He had just brought up this, I don't know what it was, experiment where they were testing the response in people. What's the strongest is it what's the highest frequency that we emit depending on different emotions?
Yes.
I'm not saying this correctly, but everyone assumed it was going to be love, right? And so they would hook everybody up to whatever to read these responses, and then they would I don't know. Sorry, I I love when I start talking about things and realize that like I know so little of what I'm about to talk about. But they would bring up something to make somebody angry, bring up something, you know, probably show them pictures of their kids or their pets to show love. But what surprised them is that the biggest response and the most positive, high vibration, high frequency response was authenticity. So it's actually self-love. And we completely agree and talk about this all the time on our show, that you absolutely have to focus on yourself. You absolutely have to love yourself, be the brightest light in the room. That's the only way that you're going to attract anyone else that is going to mirror that back to you. And it's awful that we can't do anything about all the horrible things that are going on in our own town and across the world, but we're here for a reason. At any moment in time, you draw a circle around your feet. That's exactly where you're supposed to be. What can you do in this moment, in this space, to affect positivity, change? Don't give your power away. Be authentic, be sovereign, love, self love without ego. And if all of us did that, we would be fine. We would be absolutely fine. There would be no,
Yeah. I like there's something coming through right now that it's
yeah.
like say it now, say it now. Okay. Yeah. It's crazy because yeah, I don't even feel that there's nothing that we could do about it with all the stuff going on right now. The thing that we do about it is exactly what you said, is standing within
Mhm.
yourself and quite literally standing within yourself, honing in on your most authentic self, because when you love yourself, you can love the other. You can love you can love everybody, everything And it sounds crazy because it almost sounds like I'm saying, yeah, love the bad guys, blah blah blah. No, what I'm saying is when
Love
we
the good and the bad guys, yeah.
yeah, we gotta love ourselves, but also like when we see ourselves within the other, we bridge that gap and we dissolve the illusion of separation. We dissolve the illusion of separation. That is how we come back to one. There's the song called Back to One by Peggy Goo. I don't know if you guys know that song, but she goes back to one. It's like a Korean song. That's coming through right now. It's going back to one, to the one source, and every single thing, every single person, every single blade of grass is an infinite fractal of source. And so we are quite literally experiencing ourselves in the multitude of forms. So when we are able to, in a way, not depersonalize, but like remove our attachment to whatever it is that's outside of us, like has
Dis-
the effect on us. I mean, that's
Distractions.
the distraction,
Yeah.
whatever. Like that's how we're able to dissolve that illusion of separation. The illusion of separation relies on the mind, and it relies on believing that things are separate from one another, and having this certain attachment to one's viewpoint on life. And it's like I'm trying to like figure out the best way to explain this. Although I think it makes sense. I don't know if you guys are getting what I'm saying.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, it's just bridging that gap of the illusion of separation is the main thing that I'm trying to say by going within ourselves.
Well,
Yeah.
instead of
Yeah,
being an observer and only listen to and allowing other people's opinions and
yeah,
what influence to dictate who you are, when you remove that and you're authentic and you don't care about being misunderstood. You don't care about someone else trying to trigger you. When you can let all that go, when you walk away from an argument, when you can stand sovereign and not allow things outside of you to dictate who you are, and you don't give your power away anymore, then you're thriving.
yeah. Because all those things that are triggering oneself is the reflection, as Sunfire Goddess says,
Yeah.
is the reflection for one to understand, to understand themselves even more, because we're always getting what we need. It's part of our curriculum. Where are we still attached to these things that are seemingly outside of ourselves when we're actively co-creating that very experience?
Yeah.
Because we're
You
there to
give it your
experience it.
attention and it appears.
Yeah, quite
That's
literally.
the
Yeah.
universe has one job, give you more of what you ask for or what you believe.
Mhm. Totally. And it will show up in all the ways, even the ways that one doesn't like. But
Yep.
it's just showing us where we're still resisting. So
Yeah.
it's cool.
Shannon, did you want to add to what Felly was saying?
Oh no, I was just saying, we do talk about it quite a bit and how we're all trying to raise everything up higher. And so to the extent that you can cut out negative background noise that definitely affects your vibe, cut it out.
Hmm.
Cut it out. Don't be a mushroom in a forest, which is what I would be. But,
Mm.
make sure that you're not taking in a steady diet of things that are overly upsetting and negative and dark. Put on the dance music.
Yeah.
Watch a video of, cats in Japan. Like watch something that like makes you happy, makes you smile.
Hmm.
Watch what you put into your body through your ears and your eyes, just like you think about watching what you take in through your mouth. Like you have a healthy diet, you've got to have a healthy diet all around.
Yeah.
What do you call it? Spiritual
Spiritual hygiene.
spiritual hygiene. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Nervous system regulation.
Yep.
um so Mystic
They
Bean
feed each other, absolutely.
yeah, yeah. Do you Mystic Bean suggested that we do a reading for you. Are you interested?
I'm interested.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, because that's definitely something that needs to be asked and not just done. Uh, is there anything that you are contemplating or want more of an answer to, or do you just want like a general, like what comes through? Do you want a star family?
Yeah. Yeah, sure, why not? Like a just a general reading Star Family can be included.
Okay, cool. And then, friends, if you want to put any questions about the conference or the speakers or anything in Sedona, go ahead and put it in the chat and I'll see it and star it for after this. Shannon, do you feel like starting or?
Well, what I'm thinking is we'll go ahead and get started a little bit. And this is the most random thing. And I've had 3 of them. One is Z, who's in the chat. Another is one of John's best friends. But I'm getting a nun for you, like a nun that was close to you as a child. She's like moved on. She was someone that was part of your life as a small child, maybe like a preschool teacher. Did you go to any sort of like daycare that had, or, even like a mom's day out where you stayed with like, and I'm talking like an old school nun where she wore like a little, it wasn't like a full looking habit, but she had like this little headband. I don't know
I
if you
can't remember.
have it,
I can't
but
remember.
there's a
Yeah,
nun
interesting.
in your field, and she is from your childhood, and she's very proud of you. But it's so strange because this is like the 3rd nun that has popped up. I don't
What
know why.
would there I'm trying to do my own thing over here, but I'm seeing that, but I see a garden behind her.
Yeah, that's what I keep. She's like at a school and old folks. It's like some place where there's like, it doesn't feel like a convent though. It feels like she's at something that operates as a business during the day.
Yeah, and I almost like when kids would arrive, she'd be outside guiding them in,
Yeah,
kind of
like
feeling. That
Interesting. Yeah, I don't remember.
that
I
might be
can't
something
really.
that'll come up in your like in the future for you and it'll
I I've had people in my life that would feel either really they would have very nun energy, or they would like speak about nuns. That's been a
it
thing for
could
me. So that
be.
is interesting. That is interesting. Maybe then this nun that you're talking about was coming through those people. Yeah. I mean
I mean, it very
that
well
makes
could
sense.
be. But she is very proud of you. She likes your music. And I have this, and maybe even ask your family if you had someone who has, like before that you wouldn't have known that lived life as a nun. Because
Interesting.
it
Yeah,
could
I'll have
be
to
an
look into that.
ancestral connection. But yeah,
Mm.
you have this very strong, and like I get a whole lot of angelic from you. Like, and the fact that you also had angels watching over you. Like, I think there's a tie there. And I was hoping that Amber would join us because Amber is very, very angelic herself. And I think you guys would have a good connection. But she is very proud of you. And then you also have a strange bird
Is
that's
it
sort
do they
of,
look like a dragon?
yeah, it's like a,
Because
what
I
do they
have
call
something
them?
flying right here.
Yeah, it's like flying around you. And it's like this sort of strange, feels prehistoric almost.
Hmm.
And so I don't know if you've ever encountered that as a guide. Have you ever connected with any
I
sort of
have
dragon
in a
energy?
in a deep meditation, I have encountered a really interesting dragon like being that definitely had some bird like features. So that does track. That does
Yeah,
track.
that's so strange, but I think that's what that is. And that's one of your, what I'm getting is that's one of your guides. And I think, Kimberly, the issue is it's a galactic. It's like a galactic, not necessarily an earthbound creature.
Yeah, because I immediately got dragon, but it wasn't I don't get dragons a lot, but I've met mine and I so I was it's like coming around so in my vision, it's like circling just on one side, so my right side, and at times it appears almost the way that when you see a cartoon or maybe anime where there's land that's in the sky, so it's almost like pieces of earth that have these like irregular shaped rock,
Mm,
rocky bases. Does that make sense?
yes, it
Yeah.
does. It
I'm trying to
does.
make, dude, I'm trying to make sense out of this. Okay.
I've had
So,
a vision of that before too. Something like
okay.
that.
So it's so sometimes it presents like that, and then sometimes it presents like this very elongated being. There's a dragon energy to it, but like Shannon said, it's not when people talk about their dragons and that they work with and stuff. This is very different. And they're not saying anything, but they're present. But I think they're also representative. They're representative of this space and time where I'm getting the word council, like maybe you're part of a council that goes to this floating location and you do some work in the astral, and so their body actually from afar kind of looks like that floating earth in the sky.
I've had a vision similar to that in the sense that there was like floating islands, and I would sometimes
Yeah.
go from one to another and then back.
Yes.
Yeah, so that does resonate. That does resonate. That's pretty crazy.
It was bouncing back and forth. Like sometimes I'm seeing that in the same formation,
Mhm.
like a cusp, and then sometimes I was seeing this being. Is she kind of blind? Maybe. Oh, so Shannon, what else were you getting? Because I'm not trying to step on your
Oh
your
no,
reading.
that was it. And then the other thing is, are you working on a particular instrument, like to play it, rather like yourself? Are you working with a particular instrument?
Not
Because
really.
one
I
of
mean,
the things,
I have a MIDI keyboard, but that's about
yeah.
it. I have one of these. But yeah.
Do you
So
remember?
what I'm seeing is a different sort of. It's not that it's a guitar, but it doesn't look. It looks almost small. So I have no idea what it is, but it's sort of a very small, very synthy look. Oh, it looks like a Zitar. It's just a cool looking one. From like Indian music, like the. So I don't know what that means, but you might listen to some Zitar music and see what that does for you.
I know what you're picking up on. You might be picking up on a really, really old song of mine that I made, and I have never released it too. It's an old song, and I think it might use that instrument. It's like an
Cool.
Indian kind of guitar. You might be
Yes.
picking up on that. That you might be picking up on that. Interesting.
Awesome. But yeah,
Yeah.
like
That
that is
resonates. That
like
does resonate.
very present for you.
Okay, maybe I should drop that then. Maybe I
Yeah,
should
Yeah.
drop
maybe,
that song.
or work it into something you're doing now. Like maybe
Yeah.
you purposely held off because there was more coming.
Mhm.
Okay, so this is super random, but they always are. Do you know what that game? This is an old game. It's called Simon, and it's this little device, battery operated device that had like four color panels. So it's a black disc, and it has four, like blue, green, yellow, and red. And oh, Amber's joining us. Okay. And you would start the game. It was a game. You would start the game and it would flash and make a sound. Hey Amber.
Aloha.
Hey. Aloha. We're going to tap you in for some angelic information in a few minutes. I'm just going to finish a thought with our friend Felly here. Okay, so Simon, it would it would start with like the red would go off twice and you would see it and hear it, and so then you would then hit the red twice. Okay, and so it was teaching you how to, like, it was working with your memory and and tones and color, and then it would get more complex. Then it would go like red, red, green, blue, and then you would follow the sequence, right? And then it would get and then you would keep going until you mess it up. Have you ever seen or heard that game?
No, I don't think so.
Okay,
No.
that's coming through. So I'm trying to think of like what that would be telling you. Either go back to the basics, or although if Shannon picked up on a song that you did a long time ago, it could be say go back to where you started and bring some of,
That into your new stuff.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I mean that does, again, I think you're picking up on the subtleties here because, I do channel a lot of music that comes from like older, like the 80s and stuff like
Yeah.
like there's a song that I have on Open Contact that's coming out that actually samples from a song called from a band called Captain Hollywood Project, which their music is very conscious based. So they speak a lot about, coming together to one, and forming up as a collective and being of love, choosing love over fear, right? And that's very
Yeah.
80s. That's very 80s, So
Yeah.
I'm wondering if maybe that's something. And my dad gives me a lot of music to sample too from like those times too. So that's
Yeah.
also something.
Well,
So
so interesting because a few minutes ago, Sunfire Goddess wrote 808,
yes.
808, and I didn't know it, but now she just said it's a grown-up version of Simon, which is really weird. Well, then you put that in my head.
Yeah, I do use
Sunfire.
808s. I do use 808s in my music. So yeah, that does resonate, Sunfire Goddess. Your comments are awesome, by the way. I'm reading them and I love them.
Oh,
Thank
and
you.
then someone else was watching American Dad and saw that he found the old Simon game. Dude, what the hell is going on right now? What the astral? That's
Oh,
so
Devon.
weird.
Oh, I know Devon. Hey, yeah, that's so
What
funny.
a
Yeah.
trip.
So perhaps you were picking up on that. Yeah, maybe you were picking up on her even getting in
You
here. I
you
mean,
guys are
I
planting things in
yeah,
my third eye here.
yeah.
So, Amber, this is Felly. This
Hi,
is our
Amber.
what
Aloha, nice to meet you.
Aloha. Nice to meet you too. I was in Hawaii in September, actually.
Nice. What island?
Yeah. Big Island. Big Island in particular. Yeah.
Awesome. Love
that's
Big Island.
beautiful. Shannon was picking up a very strong angelic signature with Felly, and so we were hoping that you would drop in since you are our resident angel.
You all are.
Yeah. um, yeah, very cool. Okay. Well, since we have covered the mastery that is Felly and and his musical abilities and where to find it and everything else, we will start for the next 30 minutes start talking about the conference and actually our friends Rion and Shauna left Sedona and showed up in Maui and spent time with Amber, and so we have a twofer for y'all. But before we start, were there any questions specifically for Felly or any of his friends that have joined us here? Is there anything that you wanted him to speak on before we switch gears? We'll give it a minute. And we'd love to have you back.
I'm
No,
always
Yeah.
open to it. I appreciate you guys having me today. It was
yeah,
fantastic to talk with y'all. It was super awesome just to talk about all these things. This is this type of stuff that I love to talk about and just want to keep talking about it even more. So
yeah.
I'm
Well, that's
always
why we
open to
started
it.
alive.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and we have such an incredible group of people that join us and ask interesting questions in the chat or bring up these synchronicities. And also it's a very laid back and easy place to talk about your thoughts, and there's not a lot of pressure, and it's a fun place to bring up concepts that you really can't talk to other people about. That's why we started all of this.
Totally.
um, yeah. Cool. Do you have any
Cool.
questions about anything that Shannon and I honed in on, because we can elaborate? It's still
Yeah,
rain.
yeah. If any, I'll sit on it. I'll probably meditate on it and see if I have any other questions that come up. Nothing right now though. It's
Okay.
kind of tracks to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank y'all again. I really appreciate it. This has been great. I'll definitely look forward to coming back on soon.
Yes. Yes.
Awesome.
Alrighty.
I
Hey,
have eight.
Dusk Music. If you guys want to find me again, just putting it out there again. Dusk Music. Okay. It's on
Dusk
Spotify, Apple
music.
Music, YouTube, wherever you want to find it. You want healing frequency music, then that's where to go. All right.
Very cool.
Bye, guys.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Bye.
Bye,
Aloha.
Felly. Okay.
I just realized we didn't get a cameo from his dog Loki.
Ah. Okay. Well,
I
we'll
didn't
have to
think
start
about
the
it.
next one.
When he
We'll
comes
s-
back, you guys get to meet Loki.
Yeah. Very cute little white doggy he had there in his room with him. That's cool. Cool. Okay. I haven't looked. Did anybody ask any specific questions? And Amber, I'm so excited to see your face. Thank you for making the time to join us.
So good to see you girls. Finally. It's been a while. Everybody,
You-
aloha, everybody in the comments. Thanks for being here. Oh,
Amber has been on one heck of a journey over. Right before we went to Sedona, you were all over the United States?
She was
pretty much.
everywhere.
Flying over everybody, doing some grid work, all the way to Washington, D.C., down to Florida, California, Idaho, the whole thing,
You know.
As one does.
Yeah, as one does. Devin or Devon, thank you for joining us and coming over to support your friend. And we very happy to have you. And you're welcome to join us we're on every Friday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, so John, so sweet. Okay, so
Little
let's
doggy.
see. You took your trip for family stuff. We missed each other by days in Sedona, which is
Mhm.
crazy.
I know. I was like this close to coming and meeting you guys, but I was like, I should probably get back home.
Yeah. And then Jay was sick when he got home, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. So I had just enough time to get home and get myself a little bit grounded, and then he got sick. It was just like an
Yeah.
energy sickness for like 24 hours or, a few days, and then I got it. So, then just coming back from that, though, I feel like super clear. Like, it's really interesting. It's almost like, we've all been getting this rewiring of our nervous system, and I just feel it on such a intense level. But
Yeah.
it's like a clearing, a mass clearing, like ancestral clearing going through all of us, I feel like. So, but it's definitely, I feel like a lot clearer these last couple of days, and just super, my psychicness is just like on, a whole nother level. So it's been interesting. Lots of new awarenesses and things going on within all of it.
Yeah. The oh, I can do it. Let me see if I can do it. So Amber had a really cool experience with Shauna cruising around just casually hiking in Maui. Oh, there it is.
It's a
Okay.
mantis.
Can you guys see it?
Shauna.
Look at your long, gorgeous legs. Your higher self must have said, "Move, bitch, get off."
Look at, he liked that.
He did. Yeah. Oh,
look at his
back
leg.
Just going, yeah. You're so cool.
Oh, wow.
Honey, I saw you last second. Your higher
Dude.
self literally said,
It's a mantis, dude.
"Please don't step on my."
Oh, yeah.
What was that?
What's up?
Whoa, he's starting to show his body a little bit.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Oh my gosh.
Can you do that again, my friend? Can you do that again? You're a dancer. I'm a dancer too.
Oh, look at you.
Oh, hi,
Oh.
friend. Look at you.
All right.
Whoa. Oh my gosh, you look like a flower in movement. Whoa. You're a dancer. So beautiful.
Isn't that cool?
Oh.
Oh my goodness.
I hope that wasn't too loud.
It was super cute.
Yeah. That was so beautiful. I don't think I've ever seen a white mantis.
Yeah, it was in its face. I sent you guys a picture. It was like, it felt like it was pink and green and white, the whole thing, and then it's purple underneath. It was really trippy. Super cool though. We were literally like right in front of the petroglyphs, and we're like holding hands, skipping, literally like, just frolicking down the road, and then she's like stops all of a sudden, just, oh my gosh, and we look down, and the mantis was right there under our feet. So interesting. And then the day before that, one flew on Jay's finger when we were at home. A little baby one.
Oh.
Yeah, and then today we saw the Jackson chameleon. That was cool.
Yeah, that was super cool too. Yeah, you guys are having a bunch of like insect and reptile experiences over there, which I guess would be more common on an island, but like kind of specifically happening right now, which is really beautiful.
Yeah, pretty interesting.
I like how people showing up in your life affects change, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I know when we're all together, it's just like pure magic. Just every moment, it doesn't even matter like what we're doing. We don't have to be doing anything, just being together and just looking around, and the magic just follows you. And it is
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun. I'm super grateful, and I wish I could have came to Sedona. How was the conference, anyways? Let's hear a little bit about that. I didn't get to hear about it at all.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, they're probably like, we don't want to talk about it. um, it was really impressive. I'm sure their finest one yet with the biggest, well, I wouldn't say the most impressive guests, but definitely probably the most, yeah, probably the most speakers and the most well-known speakers all together at once, which was really cool. Shannon Shannon had a different experience than she expected.
Much different.
Yeah. Um,
But I
but it was
also fell in love with a man whose name I don't even remember.
Brad
Antarctica
Olson.
Man.
Yeah.
I loved him.
I know,
Like
me too.
if I could have invited anybody to dinner, it's that dude. And
Mhm.
I've read some Antarctic theories and different things, but like, and he wasn't, I mean, he was just like spouting facts, but there was just something so engaging about him. I'm like, if I could just like invite someone to dinner and we could just pepper him with questions for like, 3 or 4 hours,
Mhm.
it's that dude.
Yeah.
Very
No,
interesting.
ever since like 2018 when I really started delving into researching archaeology, like I've always been interested, but like really started going down some rabbit holes. I found him early on, just standing at a podium speaking, like what we saw at the conference. And I've had such a fascination with Antarctica, and there's two different versions. There's like really interesting stuff that he shares with a ton of history and some symbolism and, talking about Admiral Byrd and all, like I love all that. But then there's also a lot of negativity, like people talk about a lot of fear and of course, because it would be so easy to suggest that things are happening in a place that is not as monitored as the rest of the world. But yeah, no, when I saw him, because in 20, at the end of 2022 or 23, we were all at Disclosure Fest in Vegas, and I missed the panel he was on, and all of a sudden he just came walking across the lobby, and I honed right in, and I was like, dude, you're like one of my favorite people. Like, I don't want to make you uncomfortable right now, but yeah, and then I ran and got Rion to introduce him, and I didn't even say like you should invite him to the conference, but I was so excited to meet him that I wanted to introduce him. Just whatever, because it was a cool experience, and he invited him right away. He came to Bastrop to the conference there, and then. But he didn't speak on Antarctica. He was speaking on symbolism and a lot. You know what? He was speaking on a lot of Mason stuff. I didn't even think about that when you and I were
Ooh.
talking about that the other day.
Yeah.
I have three of his books here, but he did um, the talk on Antarctica that I love, and that's what you got to witness, and that was one of the highlights for me. Um, dude, the man, Bill that brought the skull.
Yes.
What?
Nicest man ever, too.
Oh my gosh, like such a beautiful energy. Like that skull was like, I am only going to be inherited by nice people. And like handpicked him. That man is amazing. Yeah.
That's cool.
Um, and then his wife, you did you get to talk to her at all, Shannon?
I didn't get to talk to her, but I wanted to. I went over to her table on Sunday because she was right across from Barb and Natalie,
Yeah.
their table.
Yeah.
And she wasn't there. I think she must have been, maybe they had some more sessions and she sort of facilitates, taking people back and doing that. But Rebecca bought a couple of her books while we were there.
That's rad.
Yeah.
So Bill's wife wrote Romancing the Stone, which is a movie from the 80s.
Mhm.
Kind kind of on the verge of not Raiders of the Lost Ark specifically, but in that feeling. But
Yeah.
the skull that we saw, that you Shannon brought her quite a few friends and family with her, and they helped us in so many ways to set things up. They built a backdrop for the meditation room for Bill with the crystal skull. Like everybody was so helpful. Like thank you to John and all of your friends and family. But because we were always working, we didn't really get to participate with as much. Like, yes, I did sit down and listen to Brad because I made a point to. But we could have sat in there for the meditation with the skull, but we had other stuff to do. But that was a really beautiful thing that they orchestrated for the conference, that if you wanted to have a moment with one of the 7 skulls that have been unburied, and it was his ex-wife who has passed, so his deceased wife. When she was little, her and her stepfather were on a dig in Belize, and she witnessed him uncover that skull. And then when you, I guess, certain runes or artifacts you get to keep. So it stayed in her family until she passed, and then Bill inherited it. And now they travel around with it, and it's adorable. Hey, Kara. Because his name's Max, and he talks about how Max, shows up for people and shows up where he's needed, and how people like get downloads from him and interact. And it was very cool to have an adult conversation with somebody talking about a crystal skull having a persona.
Yeah. I really liked him, and he was such a charming human. His skull is called the Mitchell Hedges skull. So if you want to read like the lore on it, it's the Mitchell Hedges skull. And I did not know this at the time, but apparently he has a background in martial arts and was in the military.
Okay. So he had a serious conservative upbringing, and still believes in this and acknowledges it's part of reality, which is awesome. And we got to see Sunfire Goddess there. Yay.
We did. She was beautiful always.
Yes. All your hair and your outfits are so well put together and planned. And I feel like I just showed up in sweats every day. I didn't, but it felt like it.
No, you did not. We would have melted in sweats. It was very, very warm too. Like it was very warm there. Warmer than we expected, like going into it. But the other thing about
dry.
Yes, it was so dry. The other thing about Bill was he was talking about the skull calling to people and people showing up already knowing more about the skull. So like his sessions keep getting shorter. That like what used to take longer now takes less time. And I asked him if I thought it was if he thought it was the people researching it or the skull selecting the people. And he was like, probably I think both.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, it was it was very enjoyable to be around him. Like I felt like my central nervous system was balanced whenever I interacted with him. Tyler from Journey to Truth was a really pleasant, not surprise, but I really enjoyed talking to him. And he is, his girlfriend is Lily Nova. She was so nice, so sweet. I love when you meet people that have a big following or have been doing this for a long time, whatever. Half the time you meet them, it's a letdown. And then half the time you meet them, it feels like family. And both of them definitely felt like family. They were really, really nice people, genuine, very genuine. Shannon got a reading from our friend Barbara. Do you want to talk
from Natalie?
From Natalie, sorry.
Yeah. It was really cool. I'll see if I can show you just a picture. But she has a device where you put all 10 of your fingers in and it tells you where your chakras are. And it was really interesting because the first time we did it on Friday And that's when the call came in that my dog was not going to make it.
Oh.
And so we were in the middle of it, and she goes, don't even worry about this. Like, we'll go back to it, And I said, okay, like probably tomorrow. And then it was like really busy the next day. And then Sunday we did. So this is what she gives you. It's so cool. It's an image of each of your chakras and like how centered and balanced they are. And, usually I'm pretty grounded and my heart's pretty centered. And I thought that was like, pretty close to where I felt like I was. And then after my dog passed and I went back for the second one, my third eye was very centered, which made sense because I was connecting with my dog who had passed, and I was very on, is the only way I can explain it. I had a cool experience there. It was very, very nice, but I was like so out of balance otherwise. So then Kimberly and Natalie both did light language.
I was so curious. I wanted to see.
Three of my
I wanted to see if it would-
chakras lined up nicely, and everybody came like more toward the center, except for my heart, which was way, 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 way out here. But that's because it was with John. Like when all that happened with Kenji, he was just, and still is. That's their first baby together, and so I knew why that was so far out of whack. But it was such a cool experience. And the fact that like you can put your fingers on this machine, it shows up, and then light language brought everything back in. It was really cool. And so of course I had one of Barb's scents, and I picked up 3 more. So yeah, soon I'll have the whole chakra set.
Yeah. Where's mine? Oh yeah. Got my third eye. Yeah, no, I was curious if we would see, I mean, I assumed we would see a difference, but it was so fascinating to have you get a readout. And then Natalie she's French, has this incredible voice to begin with. And then when she speaks light language, it's so beautiful.
It's
And
very
then
hypnotic because we were all 3 like very like altered.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
even John, who was there with us.
Yeah, yes, because she was behind you and I was in front of you.
Yeah.
And I kind of put her on the spot, but I was like, let's do it. I want to see if this is gonna, move anything. And we immediately got results that it totally shifted everything. And I can't really think of many ways to actually see something like that in the present. So I thought that was cool. Okay, so I'm assuming you're dealing with a dog argument right now.
Yes.
Oh.
I think they've simmered down.
Okay. Sunfire made a comment, and it reminded me that I had kind of a trippy experience with what she's talking about here. So she said for her, it felt like she was in a fishbowl and the people were shape-shifting. They looked tall, but then when they came up to talk to her, they were eye level. I had that complete experience with JP, who was one of the speakers. I met him last year, and he's the guy that he's an experiencer, and he's on Michael Sala's show a lot. He just recently unveiled himself. He always wore, up until a few months ago, he wore a helmet because he couldn't out himself because he was sharing a lot of military information. So when I met him last year, super nice. His wife was there. I loved her. She's a total firecracker. Really sweet. I left with this image of him being my height and kind of quiet and withdrawn, like very, very polite, but just a quiet personality. And this time he's like over 6 feet tall and had a huge personality. And I was like, there's no way that's the same person, because why would I have come away thinking that he was my height? Like, I literally think we all shifted a timeline, or he went through some type of transformation, because that doesn't make sense physically to actually see somebody like change height. And it's interesting that you kind of felt like you had the same experience, Sunfire. Yeah, he was a totally different person. He was really fun. Like, really, really fun. We were cracking jokes and being stupid in the back with the brothers, the security team who is, like, my favorite people to see there.
They were really cool.
Yeah, they're freaking adorable. I'm sorry, I need to look at some of these questions here, or I wanna make sure I didn't miss any questions here. Let's see.
All my animals are outside.
That's what I.
They're
Hers are
everywhere
in
and
the
all
nature.
around me.
Sunfire and I had a blast dancing for Saturday night. I don't know where I got that energy. I really don't. Like, I was so exhausted. I walked over 26,000 steps on Saturday.
Whoa.
Yeah. So I don't even.
Did you
I
guys get
dug
to go
deep.
out in nature at all when you were there? Not really. You guys were just
Shannon
chilling.
did. Oh, Shannon, share
Yeah.
your experience.
So we did a couple of the energy vortexes. So the first one we went to was Friday before the conference started. We went to the Chapel of the Holy Cross, and it was absolutely beautiful. We went in and I lit candles
Oh, good.
for my dog.
Yeah.
And it was so interesting because, like, you're in, and they were getting ready to have mass. They have like a 3 p.m. mass on Friday. So you would think that you would be overcome with emotion, like in the sanctuary. No, we went downstairs. There was a gift shop. And so my brother and my sister-in-law, and John, we all went downstairs, and I'm just in the gift shop, and I just am overcome with energy and emotion, and I just start crying randomly. And then John goes to comfort me, and I like zapped him, shocked him. And so
Yeah,
it was
powerful.
a very cool.
I've had some crazy.
Yes.
That's where the vortex is, I think, like literally. Like,
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
that one, and I had never thought of vortexes as male or female, but that's a female vortex.
Yeah.
And it was interesting because, like, once I realized that there was that distinction, like Annie, Sean's wife, had talked about it. The next one we went to, I was like, is this one male? Because it felt distinctly different, but I wasn't thinking like male, female previously. And then that night is the night that Kenji passed. Well, the next night we skipped the dance party and we went to Bell Rock and just had a beautiful experience. We were there. Zach saw a shooting star. I caught the tail end of it. And I was like, I would like to see Kenji. I would like for Kenji to show himself. And then we were surrounded by howling coyotes the night before, after everything happened. I asked John, I said, you should try to connect with him, because John is, I mean, it's like a duh, extremely good with animals. But I said, you should connect with him. And he said, he's laughing at me. He's laughing at me about always feeling like I could protect him from coyotes, because it's like a big thing here. John makes everybody come in before dark. Like, nobody could be outside after dark. And so that had happened on Friday. And then when I asked for him to show himself and all those coyotes showed up, it was wild.
Wow. But
it is a masculine vortex at Bell Rock. Or at least that's what people say, like, on the different feel of it.
I've had like a lot of experiences on. There's another like baby Bell Rock right next to it, and I don't know if you went up on top of that, but
no,
you can have full on like visuals up there.
Oh wow!
Display on those rocks. Yeah.
Bell Rock and the Chapel of the Holy Cross, and I am not. It was funny. I was telling Nita, who's joined us on here, who's an animal communicator. I was like, I was just crying like a baby, and Nita was like, because you need to. And I was like, okay, that's true. Yeah. That's true. But yeah, like, it was very, very physically felt. Nice. So it was that's good. Cool. We needed it. Yeah. I said he chose the place to go well. I mean, he left us in a beautiful spot.
Yeah, they're right next to, those places are right next to each other. Those are my favorite places too. Like, the most I feel is those too.
Awesome. That's the one that Forrest and I returned to the chapel more than anything. Like we took a vortex tour and went to all of them, and it is a little more easier to get to that in the airport vortex, but I have really cool pictures of Forrest sitting alongside the chapel and with tons of orbs in the pictures. Like it's beautiful. And that one, it's interesting. When I was like, I think we were like 13 or 14, and my best friend at the time, her parents were like her family was like my second family. And they took us on this long road trip and took us through Sedona before we knew anything about it. And her dad is this beautiful, they're very psychic themselves, and her dad's this beautiful energy. And he is so excited for us to witness that, to be here. And we got up to the front of it, and I remember I could not walk in. Like the energy was so powerful and so strong that I felt physically uncomfortable, and I couldn't explain it. I just I felt like I chickened out at the time, and I didn't even know, kind of like when you're little and you don't know what's going on, and so you just kind of shut down. That's what I felt like, and I think it's because it was just such a powerful vortex, and I'd never felt anything like that. But now that's the one that Forrest and I always return to. This was the only trip that I think that when I've been to Sedona that we didn't actually go to a vortex. It was all coming in.
I was gonna say, did you guys do Shauna's mom's tour? And then in the comments they asked the same question.
Yeah,
I did it with my mom actually when we were there. I got to
hell yeah!
I was there with 2 nights with my mom when I was out on the road, and we did get to do the tour with her, and it was really fun. We saw tons of ships. It was like a highway. Like every time I do that, it's just like they're everywhere. It's like you can't not see them. They're just everywhere. And then the following night, Shauna and I went and slept out, or we went and laid out on the grass by her house. There's a park up there. And 2 ships flew right on top of us, right above us, and powered up 2 different times. Yeah, when we were by ourselves. Awesome. We were trying to get them to power up when we were all as a group, but it didn't do it. Usually I see it a lot in Maui and stuff, but when it was just her and I under the stars and we were just laying there, we saw 2 different ships came right over our heads and powered up. So that was cool.
That's so rad. That's so
rad. I love it.
And Shauna's mom, Sheila, is so, like, she has so much experience and such a fascinating, like, how would you say that? Like, not a job necessarily. Like what she used to host psychic fairs in New York, and so she's met tons of famous people. Like a lot of them started at her fairs. Like she has such a fascinating career. And then when were you on the tour with other people, or was it just you and your mom?
There was 2 other people, me, my mom, and her husband, and Shauna.
Okay, so was Sheila talking about other stuff? She's so interesting. Love her.
Yeah, she's been doing this UFO stuff for 40 years, like her whole life pretty much, and then brought Shauna up through that, and she's talked about all those people that they've met. And pretty cool.
It's so enhanced. Like, not only are you witnessing something that you've never seen before that you can remember, although I don't know about you, as soon as I saw it for the first time, I was like, this is so familiar. Not because I want it to be, but because it feels familiar in the way that when you meet someone, they feel familiar. That's what viewing ships felt like to me. But to hear Sheila talk about all the interesting stuff that she shares is such an enhancement on top of the experience. I love her tours are so rad.
They asked if we're going to have her as a guest.
Yes. The problem is, the problem is for, although the deeper it gets into summer, the more of a chance we have to get Sheila on, because her tours typically start at about 6:30 or 7, depending on when it gets dark. So when it starts to get dark at like 8, I'll be able to get her on. I want to get her and Dr. Gale on together, because I think they'd be a really good combination. But I talked to her a lot about that when I actually had a chance to sit down in the front where people show up to get their badges. Okay, so there's a question about the panels. So there was a Divine Feminine panel, which was really fun. I was there backstage with them when they were all lining up and everything, but then I started running around when they were talking. So now that I'm reading this, I realized that I didn't hear very much of it, but I love every woman that was up there speaking. Um, and Barbara started it and talked about heart coherence. And Barbara's an incredible speaker, so she was a perfect person to lead that. And then some background information about the Divine Masculine panel, which had wonderful men up there. We came up with the questions for them. The feminine came up with those questions for them. So
cool.
we and I gave them to Emery, and then he asked the guys the questions, and I thought that was really cool because it was well, what do they say? Behind every something man is a woman. Behind every what's that saying?
Every good
Behind
man is a better woman, or
or yeah,
good man
something
is a
like that.
great woman, something like
Yeah.
that.
See, none of us even care.
Yeah.
But yeah, but
One of those
I
programs.
yeah, I thought that was really cool that when they stopped and thought about what they wanted to talk about, that the fact that Lily and I, and then I just found I typed in some things on ChatGPT, and then actually me and the brothers, the security guards, who freaking love those boys, we decided which ones we liked, and then Rion, decided which ones we liked, and then rephrased them, and then put them into like their own words, and then Emery got up and asked the guys, and so it was really nice to come up with those questions for the panel as a group.
Yeah,
And
I like
I
that.
did hear some of them speak on, so, and it was very beautifully guided for them. Yeah, yeah. So, oh man, what else? Do you have any questions about specific speakers? Anyone? Anyone? There's a delay on the chat, so somebody might have already typed something in, but we won't see it for like 30 seconds. um,
And then we'll talk about Issa. Like
I love her.
she was going, and like everybody was, but she had so much content. She just got through a fraction of it.
Yeah.
And I just kept thinking, if only we could have moved her to another room and like recorded it for later, because she was like on a roll too, and it's just so much information. But I think everybody enjoyed watching her, and there was so much of what she showed that I don't think there was anybody that didn't have a connection to at least part of it, like previously established. I mean, Sunfire Goddess, I know you've stepped away preparing food, but like, is that kind of how you felt? Like, because there was so much of like, because she just whizzes by with all sorts of imagery and different things, but like it was
Yeah.
all very like what you were saying, familiar. Like everybody had already connected with something in there, I feel like.
Yes.
And she's another like very lovely, nice human.
I love her. And did you get to meet her boyfriend? The tall guy with really long hair? Oh, his name just slipped out
No,
of my
I don't
mind
think
because
I met him.
I know his page name, but I can't pronounce it. It's psionic something. So Issa and her boyfriend have been in Mexico, spending time in I don't know the town, but they spent a lot of time in a small town there, got to know the people, the natives that live there, and gained their trust. And so they were allowed to join them on digs and to get, to retrieve artifacts. And last year I got to see a lot of them. And this year they were connected to that woman, Pamela, that I ended up speaking to it. I don't know if you were still there. Her on Instagram, the page is called it's three initials dot three initials, and I want to say it right. I'll
Oh yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
it's really, her stuff is fascinating, and I really want to help her with my networking, like random people that I know. I want to help connect her to like someone so they can take it to the next level. Not because I want it to be me, but because I'm pretty good at that kind of stuff. Okay,
Oh
so hold
yeah.
on, Pamela. She's coming on. She's going to be on in June, by the way. So this will come up again. But if y'all are interested in artifacts and archaeology, it is ait.tri is the page.
Oh, I think we lost. Did anybody else lose audio?
I can't hear Kimberly.
Okay.
That was weird. It muted,
Yeah.
and I didn't do that.
No.
What the fuck? Okay, well then, everybody follow AIT.TRI because clearly there's some really, really good information on that page that something is trying to prevent us from communicating. Um, I had the most mentally stimulating conversation with her about and like got to look at some of the stuff that she's retrieved. She's one of those people that has incredible artifacts and is having such a hard time getting the rest of the world to be able to see them. And it's not because she's not trying, and it's not because they're not real. It's because it's really hard for the truth to get out, right? And so yeah, she's coming. She'll be here in June on one of our lives.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, Issa's boyfriend and I exchanged phone numbers. I've asked him to be on the live before, but then they were gone in Mexico, and then it just kind of fell apart the way things do. Tyler from Journey to Truth came up to me. I mean, I guess I should be telling you guys this afterwards, but we're all friends here. So he came up to me at the end and said, "Hey, you were." Okay, I'm not trying to flatter myself here, but he's like, "You were really helpful." But I got to interact with him a lot. Like he and I just kind of crossed paths a lot, and he was one of the few people that had a few more questions, probably because he was podcasting up on the second level, and that was Shannon and my job. If you couldn't find Rion or Shauna, which you usually couldn't because they were busy, you would find us and we would get the answer for you. And so he just kept coming to me. So at the end, he was like, "Hey, you were really helpful. Like you're really good at this," which was very heartfelt, and I really appreciated it. And then asked me for my number. And I didn't even think about it. I was just like, "Oh, that's cool," because I've Zoomed with them. Like we were inviting them to Bastrop, but they also had a conference that was going to happen like a month later, and so it didn't happen at the time. But afterwards, because everything was a blur, afterwards I was like, "Huh, that is really cool," because they host their own conferences, and Tyler just moved to Sedona with Lily Nova, so maybe they'll want to reach out to us and ask for us to help
Yeah.
facilitate, which would be super fun. I really, really like him and Aaron, his the other host of Journey to Truth. I watched Journey to Truth for like a year and a half straight a few years ago to catch up. Like they have fantastic guests on their podcast as well, y'all. And they did a whole documentary on the Serpent Mounds in Ohio. So that's cool. And I would imagine now Team Light and Journey to Truth would probably join forces if they were going to do more conferences anyway, just because they're in the same place, and why not? They're amazing.
Mhm.
You guys want let's see. I don't know. Shannon, do you want to bring up anything else? Oh, Sunfire mentioned somebody else back here. Sean Bond is Issa's boyfriend. Thank you. Yes, you're right. Oh, the Hopi tribe. Oh my gosh, that was such a gift to witness. Okay, so why did his name just okay? If my son knows his name. What is wrong with me? Do you remember his name, Shannon?
I do not. I kept trying to think of it when you were saying that.
Okay. So my son Forrest spent a lot of time with him. He was so nice to Forrest, and we had a very incredible moment with him. We got a shaker, like a hand painted shaker, where he told us this incredible story about why Forrest chose that one, because he's a messenger, because that's what's on the shaker. But I want to Reuben. Okay, I want to call him by his name. So Reuben came from the Hopi reservation, brought his sons and then his grandkids, and they got up on stage and with just the most beautiful, humble, authentic version of self, played music, and then the kids did this whole dance. The kids were dressed up so beautifully in outfits that represented birds, 2 different birds, and I'm trying to remember what the other one was. And they danced around, and then Reuben and his son sang in the Hopi language. And there were 2 dances. One, I don't remember what the first one was, but the second one was about these rings that you see what are they called? The little, oh my gosh, the little Indian people that are what is wrong with me? We just bought a huge one at a powwow last weekend.
The dolls,
Yes.
I feel like it starts with a K, but I can't.
Kachinas. The
Yeah.
Kachinas. So the second dance was based on the Kachina. Well, there's rings that the Kachina hold in some of the Kachina, and that was the second dance. It was so beautiful and powerful, and a huge activation. Like, you could tell everybody in the audience was just spellbound, and it was so beautiful. Then they had a booth set up, or table set up, and we went over there the next day, and Ruben's adorable and tells really good stories. But then I realized I asked Shauna and Rion, I was like, wait, weren't we next to them at Disclosure Fest in Vegas a few years ago? And she said, yes. So when they were looking for a Hopi people for this opening ceremony, I told them, weren't we next to a Hopi tribe in Disclosure Fest? And I happened to still have the schedule of events. And so I found the name and I sent it to her. And I think did we lose?
Amber's
We lost
back.
Amber? Okay, she'll be back. So she was going to start looking them up, and then someone else came through with some information, and they connected. And not until he showed up did they realize that it was them. So when we all had a really cool experience with them in Vegas, then they hired them without knowing it was them, and that's who showed up. So that was a really cool synchronicity. And when we were in Vegas, I bought Forrest a necklace, and his son blessed it for him, and because Forrest was upstairs, and so I took it to him, and so he was wearing it, standing in front of the man who we got it from years before. It was really cool. And then he picked out the shaker, and he told us this whole story about this messenger who, to deliver like love and beautiful high vibration and frequency energy and authenticity and all this. And so I thought it was really cool that Forrest chose that. Anyway, yes, that was a beautiful addition to, like, this conference was badass. Like, they're always great, but like this one was like, oh, okay, we know what we're doing. Like, we really know what we're doing. And it was like every vendor was great. Everybody's so nice when you're there. Like, my favorite thing is to walk by the weirdest conversations I'm going to hear for the entire year. Like, weirdest. And I'm here for it, and I want to hear all about it.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I
it was
know.
very nice. We were outside when that was going on, and so that was like the background music as we were saying goodbye. You heard that, and
Yeah.
everybody, I mean, we
That's
were so
true.
focused. But yeah, everybody was like, all our friends and family that were there with us were like, this is such a fitting, like, to have that in the background. And it was,
I didn't even think about that. That was
yeah,
they were
that's
doing
what
a
we
whole
were
prayer.
hearing.
Yeah.
We sat by that tree, like out to the side of the building, and that's where we were. We sat down on like a giant tree planter, like by the base of the tree.
Yeah. Yeah, my son he chose to be a Native American, that's for sure.
Oh yes, he did. And we went and collected water.
Yes.
At the water place, and of course there's a creek, so I was like, let's flip these rocks and see what lives in this creek, because I'll never outgrow that.
Yeah, we had
it was so fun. And then we went to this like strip of Navajo artisans. We went to this place, and Sunfire Goddess, you were there and there's like the
Right.
coffee shop, and then there are these like different Navajo vendors. And so we were like, oh, is everybody from the same tribe? And they're like, yeah, we're all from the Navajo tribe. And they were just so sweet and so nice and telling stories about the different pieces. And so, I mean, everything we did there, like we just went and got some water, but it was super fun. And
The
we got to go
springs.
to the creek, which that always like water just thrills my soul. And then, you know, we went around to a few places, but and the vendors were really incredible.
Mm.
Like everybody that I ran into was very interesting, but there was a guy in the front, and I'll hide myself and go get my cards and give you his name. He was an artist, and so he
Artist
had yes, the artist,
with
and he had
a
a dog
husky.
with the husky dog with
Okay.
3 legs, which of course, you know, my first thing is like, ooh, a dog. But before we got started on Friday, I spent a lot of time talking with him, and I bought a copy of one of his prints, and he signed it for me. And my girlfriend Rebecca bought a print from him, and he signed it. And then I picked up some greeting cards and then a deck of oracle cards that he had done. Like I literally, but I have no place to put it and whatever. But
Yeah.
like I could have walked away with a bunch of his pieces. I very much liked them.
Mm-hmm.
And he was another very interesting person, and he was talking about how, you know, what brought him to paint some of his paintings were him coming to peace with, like, we talked about not throwing the baby out with the bathwater, that there are like 3D things that you can dislike, and you can dislike, you know, a lot of the structure, but then there's also like so much beauty, and you know, you can not just repel it all. You know, you want to, there are beautiful parts that we should all celebrate, and like being human is such an amazing experience, and you learn so much as a soul. So
Mm-hmm.
he was a really cool guy.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I actually, yeah, I'm glad you brought him up because I didn't get a chance to speak with many of the vendors. Like I looked at everything, but I actually did talk to him.
Mhm.
Because when we were doing the light language for you, his dog came through, and I was like, I might just be aware that the dog's over there, but only saw the dog on one side, and they came through when I was focused on your heart and clearing your solar plexus, and I thought that was really interesting. And the springs that we're talking about is I swear it's Harding Springs, which I recommend everyone go there. Yeah, Harding Springs. Is that right? When it's like a 20-minute drive out of what you would consider downtown Sedona, and it's just rocks holding a pipe coming out of the ground that's bringing you fresh spring water, and it's my favorite thing to do there, and I also do it in Mount Shasta. But I was glad that you and John, because I was like, all right, this is what I'm going to do tomorrow. I don't know if you guys want to go with me. And you and John were like, yeah, that's totally our jam. And we had so much fun, and walking down to the creek. I'd never walked down the path before, um, and turned over rocks and looked for bugs. So that was really fun. And I just love being there. And
Yeah.
you have to have a natural experience when you're in Sedona. It's easy to go shopping, and there's restaurants and everything else, but like it's it's about the vortexes and the springs and the animals and the pigs running around at night and the coyotes singing and the spaceships.
And also the spaceships. Yeah.
Yeah.
We stood out in a parking lot at the base of Cathedral Rock. And I think I sent you video. Like we watched, and to put it in context, and I don't know if they're on today, I've not seen them in the chat, but my friend Sean is retired Air Force, was in military intelligence, and we're standing there looking at this thing, and we watch it for almost an hour, right at an hour, and it would like move erratically. And at first we're like, maybe that's a drone, but we were like, it's so high to be a drone and still be so visible. And it wasn't just red light, green light, in, you know, which would normally be like a flight configuration. So we watched that forever at the base of Cathedral Rock. John was out looking at tarantulas. He did not stand looking at the sky, but Sean and his wife Annie and Zach and Miranda and I were like completely focused on it. And Rebecca got a whole bunch of like energy, like up her legs, buzzing. Because when we would go to the vortexes, you know, we'd take our shoes off.
Mhm.
We didn't at Chapel of the Holy Cross because I hadn't heard it at that point. We went on Friday, and then on Saturday, one of the things Rion was saying and his like big speech at the end of day one was like, put your feet on the ground there. So that
Mhm.
night we were like, okay, we're taking our socks and shoes off and we're going to put our feet in there. Very cool, but lots of activity. And I mean, I made videos of it because it was so unusual.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, the conference is very close to where they do the UFO viewing tour. It's across the street, but like you would need someone to tell you how to get there, but it's very close to it too. Oh, so many tarantulas. Good to know, John. Thank you.
He was
Yeah,
so
I
happy.
want to see tarantulas. That's so cool. Who would have thought? You guys you just walked upon them, and there were just a bunch of them there out in
Wow.
the desert. Really?
I
I
revived
know
one
it's
last year.
abundant with the animals there. I saw a huge
Yeah.
deer in someone's driveway.
Did you?
Yeah.
Aw.
That's cool. Before when we show up, they usually show up in Shauna 2 or 3 times. She's like, it's crazy. We won't see him for months. You guys show up, and then there's a deer the next morning because I think Forrest brings them in.
I saw deer at her house one time. Her and I were there, and a whole bunch of bucks and stuff were
Aww.
behind their house. Yeah, it was cool. And
Where-
I have a video of them fighting actually right behind their house in their backyard. 2 bucks fighting.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
That's
Well,
awesome.
where did you stay, Amber?
We actually stayed. She recommended this place, or maybe this app. I don't know. I thought it was a place that she was recommending, but it was literally right across from their house, pretty much. It was on the main street. There's a little purple building, and it's called like the Awakening, and there's like little apartments in there, and it's just
Oh,
there's a massage parlor on the bottom part of it, and then upstairs is apartments, and it was like $150 a night. Not bad.
nice. Yeah, did you like
Right
it?
there in town. It was, you know where the Choco Tree restaurant is? It's like
Yes.
a vegan restaurant.
Yeah.
It's right there, behind it, right there.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
It was
that's
really
cool.
nice. It was like a full-on apartment, kitchen, living room, bedroom, bathroom, all. Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
that's
awesome.
what Shannon and I where we stayed. It's like probably although I really like what you just said, I might check that out. But we stayed at Sedona Pines Resort, which is the same thing. It's like every unit is an individual, like not a tiny house. It's like a little 1-bedroom house with a full kitchen. And I think one of the nights it was like 150 or 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we paid more than that. And in December, I get it for like $100. So if
Right.
anybody is going to Sedona, remember what Amber said and hit me up for Sedona Pines Resort connection, and we can get the link from Amber too. Sunfire, you stayed in Cornville. That was like 20 minutes away, right? 20 or 40 minutes away. You saw a baby bear.
No.
Wow. I didn't. Yeah, I
That's
didn't.
so cool.
Oh, I didn't know they had bears in Arizona either. Well, no, there's Bearizona actually. Yes, I guess I do. Bearizona is the other where when we go up to Williams, there's the deer farm, and then next to it is Bearizona. And we finished our trip by going to the Grand Canyon. Shannon suggested that we all take the train and bought us all tickets, which was incredibly generous. And
It
we
was
rode.
so fun.
Yeah, we rode the
Aw.
special car with
How cool.
the viewing. What was that car called?
The observatory car.
Observatory car. Yeah, and they do a good job on that with all their little stories. We had like the best guide that would come up and tell us information, and
She was so cute.
yeah, and then we got held up by bad guys, and a marshal came on. It was very fun.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. The Grand Canyon is, I don't think it's real. Like I stood there, and in front of me, I could see the depth, but there is something that happens like your brain cannot process what it's seeing, and it
I
just
know
looks
it.
like you're looking at a scene. It doesn't look
I
like you're
know.
actually. There's no depth perception. It's incredible. It's stunning. And I want to
Yeah.
know all the
I
weird
think
shit.
they mined all that out of there, dude. At some point.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now you're in my language. We were there, and Kimberly was like, okay, we have to look for these temples in
Yeah.
like the Cave of Isis. So we're
'Cause, you know.
there, we're, Temple of Isis and Cave of Isis
course.
and all this stuff. So we're looking at it, and then I find this park sign, and I even took a picture of it.
Mhm.
There are two very visible holes in real life. And then the park rendition, there are no holes. Like there's no cave, there's no, it's just smooth. So to
Yeah,
your point,
there's
Amber,
definitely-
something happened there, and we're trying to depict it differently than how you can look at it right across the thing and see it, which is weird, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, very interesting. Hi, Justin.
There's
Thank you
been
for joining us.
artifacts, found in there, Egyptian artifacts.
Kincaid. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
The Hopi House is very cool there. It's very touristy otherwise, but that Hopi House was very beautiful. Yeah, I don't know. You can see why. Okay, why would they name the Temple of Isis and there were two other Egyptian names and it's out of my mind now what they were. Why would they name it there if there was no association with finding Egyptian artifacts in the Grand Canyon?
Mhm.
Yes, I
And
know.
there were a
Sorry.
couple of Hindu names in there too. But like you're thinking, this is the Grand Canyon. That area, has been there forever and ever. You would have think that they wouldn't have gone Egyptian and Hindu.
Yeah. Yes. Like there's a huge spiritual connection there, but there's a major just tourism distraction when you're actually there. So it's almost like, yeah, look at the Grand Canyon, it's amazing, right? But then we're going to distract you with all this other stuff so that you feel comfortable and then you just slip into your old habits. But you're staring at the cave of Isis. Yeah, it was very interesting. I've watched a lot of videos because as soon as I found out that there were supposed supposed artifacts found there in a cave and all the other stuff, I like went down a major rabbit hole and watched a ton of videos about that. And yes, anytime anybody even gets close, at least in the videos that I've watched, and there were many, they would say the moment they stepped off the path, somebody would just pop out of the bushes and be like, "You're not allowed to come here. You're not allowed to cross this path. You're not allowed to be here." Now, why would all that military presence and black outfit, 3-letter agency presence be there if they weren't up to something? Brad Olson, I remember hearing him. I don't remember what this was, what this whole talk was about, but he said that they somehow directed smoke. So maybe they set off something, maybe a smoke bomb in a tunnel that's like adjacent, but part of the tunnel system through the Grand Canyon, set off this, let's call it a smoke bomb. It's better than that. And he said that they saw smoke come out miles away. I remember him talking about that in one of his interesting talks, I guess. I'm just repeating myself. So there's way more to the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
Way more.
It's
Yeah.
pretty grand, though. It's definitely pretty grand. The first time I saw it, I was just like, whoa, like, this is pretty grand. I get why they call it the Grand Canyon, but it's definitely not what they say it is, for sure.
Well, it's only an hour away from Williams. And by the way, y'all, if you go to Sedona and you have time, go up to Williams. You can get hotel rooms super cheap up there, like $60 at the Motel 6. And then you could drive another hour to the Grand Canyon, visit, and then come back the same day. I saved this video years ago because if and when when I go back, I want to go back. The way they explained it is you map yourself to this reservation check-in. I don't remember which tribe it is, but you drive in. So you're basically at the bottom of the Grand Canyon. You drive in, you pay to spend the day there. It's like a $20 contribution to the tribe. And then you literally pull into a body of water where I think in this video, they saw some kayaks. So, like some of the kayak tours that take place down there, some of them were stored there. But it was a really cool way to see the Grand Canyon in a without tourists, without just from above, like, and I was spellbound by this video. It was just somebody's casual, like, hey, look what we found, but I saved that. So if anybody wants that, message me on Instagram and I'll find it. It'll just take me a few minutes.
Yeah.
Ooh. So Sunfire said her rich friend back in the 90s said they found lots of Egyptian artifacts, Buddhas. Yeah. Well, if you look up, I don't remember the first name, but the man's last name is Kincaid.
Yes.
I'm not going to say this perfectly, but he was commissioned by the Smithsonian. He's a professor.
Yes.
He went there to investigate, happened upon this, saw like a cave entrance, went in, and the first thing I believe he saw were bodies, sconces, like that you would have to light, and then bodies in dugout parts of the wall, mummified, a bunch of Egyptian artifacts. And then when he kept going, there's a humongous Buddha that would like fill up a whole bedroom, a carved Buddha in there. But then if you go further, it started to smell very snaky. So we would have to hold on to John. But
Yes.
people haven't, like whoever was with him, they wouldn't go further because they were too afraid of what laid beyond. On the way to Sedona, I listened to the story where this man was describing this. He said that at some point they came upon this big hole in the ground, so he threw a pebble and didn't hear it land. And he was like, oh, that's kind of weird. And so he kept throwing larger rocks, and nothing he threw down there he never heard a splash, or it didn't hit the side and it never landed. So that's
Crazy.
an interesting hole. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Giant bones. Yeah. All right. We've been on for almost 3 hours. I'm surprised everyone's still here, especially in the East Coast. Did you all have any other questions, or Amber, is there anything else that you wanted to share?
Nope. Just grateful to
No.
see all of you guys and be a part of this, and
Yeah.
see
Did
you
you
in the person soon.
I know. We'll see you in December. Did you see Rion, or was he hanging out with Jay?
He was. It was like him and Jay were together, and me and Shauna ran off and did our own little fairy thing. For the most part,
Cool.
I get to spend time with him at his house though. We
Yeah.
made a song together.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's right. Oh, that's what you shared with us today. Yeah.
Yes.
That's very
but
cool.
When they were here, no, it was mostly just me and Shauna were just nonstop, and they were nonstop, and so. But it was just we only got that little bit of time together, so.
I know.
But I was super grateful for that. I know they had to have been exhausted with everything, and
That's why we go back, because like when we're doing like what you're doing, or when we do the conference, we're like, hey, high five, and then
yeah.
there's never enough time to just be. Okay, well, cool.
Love you
I'm glad
guys.
I love you. I'm so happy
Love
to
you
see you.
too.
Love everyone in the chat. Thank you all for joining us and listening to our stories. And we had an awesome guest today. We'll have him back. Yeah, this was fun. Thank you.
Yeah.
If you have other questions, you can message us. Oh, my group activation is on Sunday. Elisa, thank you for signing up today. If anyone else wants to attend, it's Sunday at noon Pacific Standard Time, 3 Eastern Time. And we just activate and release and clear our chakras and organize our chakras. And there's a chat afterwards, although it's Memorial Day weekend and I have a ridiculous amount of wedding cake deliveries, so I have to cap it at like an hour and 15 minutes, I think, this week. So thank you, everyone. I love you.
Bye, guys.
Thank you for
Bye,
being
guys.
part of this, for always showing up, for always being the brightest lights in every space that you fill. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And who did we just lose? I'm going to tell you who's going to be here next week. We're still in May. Okay. Oh, Christine's coming back next week. Our ET experiencer. We had so much fun with her, so she'll be back here next Friday. Love you all. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
End stream time. Are you gonna do it? Restream.